Good afternoon, everyone. The Sacramento City Council will please come to order. Would the clerk please call the roll to establish a quorum?
Vice Mayor Ashby?
Here.
Councilmember Laloe?
Here.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Here.
Councilmember Chenier?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra?
Here.
Councilmember Jennings?
Here.
Councilmember Vang?
Here.
Expect Councilmember Harris momentarily, and Mayor Steinberg.
I am here. Good evening, everybody. Good late afternoon. I would like to ask Councilmember Chenier if he would please lead. What's that? Is he?
Sure.
Please, our Assistant City Manager will lead us in the land acknowledgement and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise for the opening acknowledgements in honor of the Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin Winton peoples, and the people of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe, may we acknowledge and honor the native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous peoples' history, contributions, and lives. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good. Thank you very much,
Welcome.
Mr. Assistant City Manager. Really appreciate it. We do have a full complement of members here tonight. Welcome to the members, the city staff, and most importantly, the members of the public. We begin tonight with two very special presentations. One is recognizing the North Natomas Community Center and Aquatics Complex, which I understand just received a significant recognition and award. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the project's champion, our Vice Mayor, Angelique Ashby.
Thanks, Mayor. So I'm going to ask Brian to come up. Would you please, Brian Whitmore, come up to the podium there? So you guys, folks know we built a really great facility out there. Some images of it kind of flash through up there while we talk about this in case you haven't had a chance to go visit or come see it. This is the North Natomas Community Center and Aquatics Facility, which is the only Olympic-sized pool in the city of Sacramento. It's already hosted some pretty large tournaments. Mayor came out to one and welcomed folks from all over Northern California out for championships. And it's very popular. Averages over 1,000 person a day on a weekend day, sometimes much more than that. Takes a lot of lifeguards. It's had some amazing events already in it. Its very first event in the community center was, I think appropriately for Natomas, a senior ball. So that's kind of fun. The schools are using it too. And this is a joint use project. It was funded primarily, the primary funding source is North Natomas specific. Development fees paid for about $20 million of this facility. Those were fees specific to District 1, paid for by the developers out there to create an amenity for the community. And then there was about $12 million contributed from the city of Sacramento, which is about the average amount that would go towards a community center or a pool. We put it towards both. And then the school district, Natomas Unified, included it in their bond and put another $10 million or so towards the project. And against all odds through COVID and shortages and everything else, city staff really championed this project and got it across the finish line. Brian Whitmore was the architect from the very first day with me. Brian runs W Studio Architect firm. And the Sacramento Business Journal selects annually projects in particular categories as Project of the Year. And they issue an award to the developer, the architect, and the builder. And our facility won for the recreational project of the year, which means Brian was awarded the architect of the year on that project. Auto Construction was awarded the builder, and we received this award as the developer of the project. And I wanted to share it with you all, but more importantly, Brian and I wanted to thank the developers, which are our city staff. And several of them are here today, including our Parks Commissioner, Sumiti Mehta. And sitting next to her is David Guerrero, who is the Parks Commissioner for District 3, but was equally helpful on this project. They really worked together to rally the community from the very beginning and usher the project through. Both Smitty and David, we owe you a debt of gratitude, and you are ever as deserving recipients of this award as any of the rest of us. Also is the District 1 Planning Commissioner Lynn Lindsay here today, and then some members of our team, Sean, Jackie, and Ray from Parks, representing the Parks team. And when I received this award, James Christensen, Jason, and Ezra went with me, and Hector Barone all went with me to accept it on behalf of the city of Sacramento, along with Brian and some folks from Otto. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank our team, and then appropriately, I'm gonna give this award to them. And they should take this and put it in their department because they really earned it. They worked hard on it, they put it together, and every day, Jackie and Sean and their team work hard to keep it running and serving thousands of people across the region who are really enjoying that amenity. I get to hear thank yous all the time about this project, and it makes me really happy. And I want to share this award with them and have them really host this. And I also brought with me the Business Journal's paper where they highlight each of the projects. And there are some great pictures in here and a really nice article about our project. So I'm gonna give this to them as well. And I wanted to give Brian a chance to say something about the award, the project, and the city team. And then Mayor, have a member of our city team come up and say a couple words and then take a picture, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, thank you, Brian Whitmore, Studio W Architects. It's really an honor to be here this evening. I think the first time that I stood in front of many of you was in 2014 when this was initially envisioned, right? We started with a feasibility study, and of course, the purpose of that feasibility study was to really figure out was something like this feasible for the city of Sacramento. I often say that it is the alignment of the stars. When you come together on projects like this, particularly award-winning projects, everything has to fall into place. Obviously, the schedule, the budget, the design, the contracting, all of those things. But really, as was noted here this evening, it's a championship. And the championship in particular, Vice Mayor Ashby, but also as you as a council, the city staff and everyone else. So we're very proud of the project. I know it's been very well utilized this summer already. I think last week in particular, right, with the temperatures that we had. But certainly this is going to be a resource for the region, not just the city of Sacramento, and will likely attract folks from all over Northern California, if not the Western United States. So we're looking forward to that as well. So thank you very much, and well-deserved, and congratulations to all of you as City Council in the city of Sacramento.
Brian, thanks for your commitment to, it's just not normal for an architect to hang in there for 8 years on a project with the city, but he never wavered. His company even changed. I think we took this across at least 2 companies.
Well, same company, but different different ownership.
Yeah.
When I took over a few years ago.
And really grateful to you. It is a very special project, Mayor. I know you've been out there a number of times, seen it. It's really special, and something that we can all be really proud of as a city.
It's a fabulous project, and it is a source of great pride. Shows what's possible. Community comes together, the city, the school district, we all find a way. And you know, my only thing is that we want to replicate this in different forms throughout other parts of the city because it's that good, and we will.
Yeah. Well, I know an architect when you need one. So Sumiti and David, and I want to thank the other Parks Commissioners who happen to be here for another item, but thank you for pushing this through, getting it up to the City Council. Really appreciate all of you. And then Lynn and Sumiti and David and Sean and Jackie, and Ray, if you guys would all come forward, and then maybe Jackie, you could say some words on behalf of Parks, and then I'll bring you an award, okay? Jackie, by the way, heads all of aquatics for the city of Sacramento, so you can imagine what this undertaking has been for her. I'll give you one idea of the popularity. The swim lessons booked, I think we opened at noon on a Tuesday, and they were completely booked solid all the way out 3 or 4 months in within about 3 minutes.
Exactly. That's about right.
like in the olden days with concert tickets when you're trying to, be first in line.
Right.
But pretty exciting for people to be that pumped up about a city amenity, so.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll keep this brief, really just to echo everything Brian said. And thank you, Vice Mayor Ashby, who really championed this from the beginning. It's been a tremendous asset. We learned that from day one, I think before even opening. We hosted a grand opening week with your team. And it was really incredible to see representation across the entire city. We had visitors come from all across the region just to see what the new pool is all about. So this is our 17th pool that we're now operating, but it's our first pool that has been, it's truly designed to serve the entire region, all of Sacramento. We've had youth and families come all across the city and enjoy this beautiful facility. So we're looking forward to that, to bringing these, water safety resources to all of our families. Thank you so much for all of your work on this, and thank you as
Yeah,
well.
thanks to your team too, Mayor. Yeah, we were, I think some of you were at the groundbreaking where there were several thousand people. So we were very nervous about how in the middle of COVID to do the grand opening. So we actually did a week of tours that people could sign up for back to back to back. So the Parks Department and my team did an entire week of tours. All of the tours were booked out, all were full, so that people could come through and take turns seeing the site. And so it's really exciting, but lots of things have been a workaround because of COVID. So I'm really, really proud of the team and Auto Construction too. They were a terrific partner, so. Yeah, let's take a picture.
Something here, so please.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Vice Mayor Ashby, you've been a champion of this project as long as I've known you. You were on the council, I was on the Parks Commission when the Great Recession hit and we closed our pools.
Yeah.
Our aquatic program basically collapsed around 2010. Those were difficult times, but we realized then how important aquatics are in this city. And you've been a real champion for this project. I remember well also the night that we haggled for money for you for this pool and for Natomas. It was a difficult conversation, but I believe that this was a great investment for the city because the CFD paid so much and the school district chipped in and the contribution from the city was highly leveraged as a result. It was a good investment. And it's proven to be so. It's important for people to understand that this is a citywide amenity. This is not a Natomas thing. It is open to everybody, but I think that that word hasn't quite gotten out yet, largely because of the pandemic. We're still figuring out how to do our city and how to do transportation and everything else, but this is a great project that has your handprint all over it. And I think it's a legacy move on your part and something that you can be proud of your whole life because it's changed our city and it's a great place. It's beautiful. And I love it. Everybody who goes there loves it. So as the word gets out, it will gain in popularity. But again, a great investment
Jackie
by
hopes
the
not.
city.
We cannot take any more people. It's extremely popular right now.
Well, Jackie, brace yourself. Just saying. And, to the Parks Commission that I used to be part of, thank you for supporting.
Yeah.
And, of course, David Guerrero, is someone special to me. But, everybody on the Parks Commission, everybody who put their back to this project, it was worth the effort. I appreciate you all. Great job, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Jeff, come down, take a picture with me. You guys want to stand up here or come down? Either way.
Can we remove the barricades?
Robert, will you take this for me? Got it?
Really great.
I just don't want it to time out.
Great to see you.
I'm gonna move a little bit forward.
Here we go.
Okay. I'm gonna do another one. Excellent, got it.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, all right.
All right, a good way to start off the evening. Now we go to a second of 3 presentations. This one is a recognition of 9/16 Day presented by a number of us, but we're going to have Councilmember Jennings present the resolution, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to tag team to my teammate, Councilmember Guerra, who's going to start it off, and then I'm going to take the baton.
Got it.
And then take it from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. This is a great effort here, and actually a great pride of our civic engagement here. So 9/16 Day, this was established in 2019, right before the pandemic, in an effort to really increase the amount of civic participation. Sacramento and Sacramentans, as identified right before the pandemic, the amount of hours of civic engagement and volunteerism was recognized in that year. And to highlight that, we proclaimed 9/16 Day as an important day of volunteerism, a day to give back, to recognize that. And a big thank you goes to our Parks Commissioners here. Our Parks Commissioners also oversee our community centers, and as well, we had just changed our Parks Department into YPSI, putting youth in the focus of everything. And the last couple meetings, we had a conversation, a very thoughtful and long conversation about our commissions and what they do and the importance of their activity. This effort was led by our commissioners. We have today with us Devin Lavelle and Victoria Vasquez, and also Joe Flores here. And this goes to show you these are volunteers who commit their time to saying how can we better improve the open space in our city, and making sure that every part of our amenities are providing something. And beyond that, how do we encourage more volunteerism? Obviously today we have Commissioner Sumita and also Guerrero here, David Guerrero as well, today, to have so many commissioners here who are active. So let me pass that over to Councilmember Jennings, but first to say how important this effort of 9/16 is born out of the civic engagement of our citizens who want to increase the amount of volunteerism and set the example for our young kids about the value and importance of volunteerism. So let me pass it over to Councilmember Jennings.
Okay, I'll take the baton. And what I want to do before I get into my comments is I'd like the commissioners to please stand, turn around, and please give them a big round of applause.
Apologies, Councilmember Jennings. You caught me in my absence here. We'd ask the commissioners if they could come all to the podium here, so they could be on in the camera view for those watching.
Good deal, good deal. So this year we're celebrating 9/16 Day by coming together to improve our parks and our green spaces where we gather. Young and old, we are planting trees, we're painting benches, we're doing whatever needs to be done in the parks in order to make our parks a place that we all want to go to and play and have a good time and just come together as a group. So this year, from the city's Youth, Parks, and Community Enrichment Department and the Parks and Community Enrichment Commission, they've been hard at work organizing volunteers for what I'm about to tell you about. Organizing volunteers for these incredible events that are going to happen. Some have already happened, starting September the 10th, and they'll go all the way through September the 17th, where we'll hold volunteer activities in the city parks in every single city council district. And it's for the purposes, as Councilmember Guerra said, to promote volunteerism and make sure that we beautify our parks and bring people together. And so that's what we want to do. So let me tell you the schedule, because you got to get involved and you got to decide you want to volunteer. You got to know where it's going to take place and when it's going to take place. So District 8, my colleague, Councilmember Vang, started it off, and she kicked it off at LeVar Burton Park with 50 volunteers, and they did 20 trees. That's right. So the next event that you have is on the 16th, District 5, Councilmember Chenier, and District 7, Councilmember Jennings, will be planting at September 16th at 8 a.m. at Argonaut Park, and then at 4 p.m. at Garshaben Park, followed by a program at 6 o'clock. And then we will go to District 2, Councilmember Laloy, at Triangle Park at 9 a.m. on the 17th, which will be that Saturday. And Councilmember Laloy will meet you out there, and he's going to have all the volunteers out there, so we encourage you to get volunteers for that day. We'll then go to District 4 at 9 o'clock as well, but a different park for tree planting and painting. It's going to take place at John Muir Park, Councilmember Valenzuela's district. So she's going to be out there. I know you're going to be out there. I'm hoping you're going to be out there. All of us will be out there. And then on the 17th as well, District 6 will be tree planting at the George Sims Community Center. We know we need trees out there. So join Councilmember Guerra for District 6, Saturday the 17th at 9 a.m. And then Councilmember Ashby, I got you. Right, we're gonna have park cleanup at the North Natomas Regional Park on Saturday at 10 a.m. Is that right?
And we have park cleanup and mulching.
Say that again?
Mulching and park cleanup.
Mulching and cleanup. All right, so that's good. But it's 10 o'clock is right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. And then the last event, for those who can't make these events in the month of September, we're going to extend 916 all the way into October. And so October the 8th will be the last event of 916. And we're going to do that in Councilmember Harris's district, District 3 at McKinley Park. And that's going to be the opportunity to do whatever needs to be done in McKinley Park. And I think that list is still evolving. But we know we're going to have a great 8 opportunities of volunteerism, of bringing people together, and it's just going to be wonderful. And you guys have made this happen, starting with the mayor in 1919 when you introduced 916 to the city of Sacramento.
I am middle-aged, but
All right, starting with the mayor in the year 2019,
yep.
starting 916, and continuing with our commissioners this year. And just, we really want to keep this going. We want to make this an opportunity for many volunteers to be able to come out and make a difference. And we saw that already happen. And so we want to continue to have it happen all the way through this schedule that I've just mentioned. So again, I want to thank you, and I want to encourage all of you out there in the audience and who are listening to us on television to volunteer. And I'm sure, Devin, you'll tell them how they can do that.
I will. Thank you. Thank you. For
That enthusiasm, by the way, Councilmember Jennings. Volunteerism is everything in this city. So I feel that enthusiasm. Go.
All right. Thank you. My name is Devin Lavelle. I have the pleasure of serving District 7 as Councilman Jennings' representative on the Parks Commission, and I'm also the chair of the commission this year. We as Parks Commissioners, we love the city, we love our parks, and we might not always get credit for it, but Sacramento is really one of the great cities around, one of the great park cities around. Our parks are the foundation of our neighborhoods and help make this such a special place to live. And that's why we thought it was only natural to celebrate 916 Day in 2022 through our parks and celebrate it through service. Councilmember Jennings covered most of what I was actually going to say here, but as he said, the most important thing is for everyone who is interested in signing up, go to cityofsacramento.org/916day. You can sign up there for any of the events happening, still happening, and get all the information you need to know. And thanks, Joe. I also want to say a big thank you first to Councilmember Jennings. He is our council sponsor for this. He and his office were the engine behind making this go. I want to say thank you to Councilmember Guerra, who got the resolution through tonight and has been a big supporter. I want to say thank you to Mayor Steinberg for his efforts in making this successful. And I want to say thank you to the entire council for your support in this and for putting together such an awesome team for us in parks. Of course, I also, big thanks to the Sacramento Tree Foundation for all the trees we're putting into the ground. Couldn't do it without them. Big thanks to Sean Aylesworth and his staff, especially our tremendous volunteer organizer, Esteban Lopez, for all of their support in making all this happen. And thanks to Randy Singh and Gabby Miller for their support in organizing the volunteers and getting the word out. And of course, we still need more volunteers, so sign up at cityofsacramento.org/916day. And my last thanks to the people behind me here. I want to say thank you to Smiti Mehta from District 1. Thank you to Gordon Liu from District 2. David Guerrero, David Guerrero, District 3, Kai Herman, District 4, Janine Gaines from District 8, Sam McCarchek, where there he is, our Youth Commissioner, Nikki Kangas, and Rita Garrett-Good, who weren't able to make it, and I did miss a couple from that list. Special thanks to Commissioner Joe Flores, who's here with his son Joe. This was his vision that we brought together. He's the District 5 Commissioner. Whoops, where is he? There he is. Sorry. And this was his vision, that we would not be here without him. And a huge thanks to Vice Chair Victoria Vasquez, District 6. She's an incredible organizer. She's really put this whole thing on her back to make it happen. Absolutely tremendous work. Victoria, thank you. And would you like to say a few words?
I would love to. Thank you, Chair Lavelle. I'm Victoria Vasquez. I'm appointed by Councilmember Eric Guerra. Very proud to serve in District 6 and as the Vice Chair of the Parks Commission. And out of all the lovely, exciting, invigorating words that we've heard today, I want to remind you that we are the city of trees. Not all of the things that we are doing are tree planting, but trees do have a life cycle. And so celebrating every year will help us to renew those trees and invigorate our parks with those trees. And parks are places where we convene, where our community members come to celebrate, to have their birthday party, to play a sports game, to have a meeting, to have movie night, food truck night. And we have a tireless and amazing parks staff. The parks staff work every single day of the year, 365 days a year, to make those places safe for us and enjoyable for us and clean for us. And this is one day and 1 week out of the year that we can return that favor, that we can celebrate those places that hold our celebrations, that we can come together and celebrate the literal parks that celebrate us every day of the year. So thank you to the park staff and to Director Lara for all the things that the park staff do, and all the park staff here tonight. We're really grateful for all of your support all throughout the year. So if you are proud to be in the 916, then come on down and get a little bit dirty. Get a shovel, bring your boots, bring a refillable water bottle, and come on down and pick up some trash and make your local park a great place to be. Thank you.
You have a resolution, and I just will do the whereas, the not, therefore, let it be resolved that the mayor and the council of the city of Sacramento do hereby recognize the 16th of September every year as 916 Day and encourage all residents to participate in volunteerism as we celebrate the city of Sacramento, which we love with all our heart and soul. So I will present that to you.
Where do we go? How do we do it? Here?
Yeah.
I will. All right.
Councilmember Vang, I see you had a comment. Go ahead and make your comment while they're lining up for their photo.
I had a comment for you, and I also had a comment for this, but that's okay. I think it's still, okay, yeah. Oh, should I go?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to, well, actually, let's do the photo. Okay. I just wanted
Like this? Oh, no, like that. I mean, no zooming. Gotcha. Yeah, I got you covered.
Mayor, Councilmember Vang had a comment on this item, and I just want to make sure that the Parks Commissioners heard her, because I think she's going to just thank them. Go ahead, Councilmember Vang.
Thanks. I just wanted to take this opportunity to just say thank you to all of our amazing Parks Commissioner, just for your heart and your hustle to make this event happen. Shout out to Commissioner Joe. Just thank you so much for your vision. And I do want to personally thank my appointee, Janine Gaines, for her amazing work in our district. Great work on inaugural event, kickoff event, LeVar Burton. 20 trees is not an easy lift. I also want to note that Councilmember Jennings is not only a professional football player, but he's also a professional tree planter. Y'all should have seen him out there in the dirt. He's pretty amazing planting trees. Yeah, I think you should just stay a professional tree planter. We need you throughout the city. We definitely need you throughout the city. And so I just, again, wanted to just take this moment to say congratulations and just thank you so much for your service. You know, we are, as Victoria mentioned, we are the city of trees, but we can't be the city of trees if specific neighborhoods and areas in our city lack a shade and tree canopy. And so, you know, 916 Week of Service is about the community. It's about volunteerism, but it's also about addressing climate change and ensuring that we continue to beautify our city. And so I just really want to say thank you to each and every one of you for your heart and hustle and for your service to Sacramento. So thank you.
Very good. Mayor, one more here. There's a little glitch in our system, and it's not coming up right. I'll see if I can go get that fixed right now, but you have Councilmember Laloe. You'd like to say something as well.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Just to follow up my colleague, Councilmember Vang, really I want to thank the Park and Rec Department. You guys are absolutely outstanding, and I really appreciate the commitment and effort that you've made to our city. And I also want to thank all the commissioners for being so involved. And I want to thank Mr. Gordon Liu, who's the Park Commissioner from District 2, for really being involved and even today reminding me that I'm in charge of bringing donuts and coffee on Saturday. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Also, I wanted to add one more thing, and that's to my colleague sitting to my right, Vice Mayor Ashby. Unfortunately, I was not able to make my screen work on the first topic, but truly, I want to thank you for everything that you've done for the city of Sacramento. It's the things that you have accomplished, not only in the district that you represent, but throughout the city. It's absolutely amazing. And it's truly an honor for me to sit here next to you and to refer to myself as your colleague. So the city of Sacramento appreciates you. And your work speaks for itself. And I wish you nothing but the best. And I've noticed that every time we think we have one over you, you come up with one. Here we are talking about planting trees in our districts. And of course, your district is planting tree and mulch, right? So once again, really, thank you so much for being such a great leader within our city of Sacramento. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think it's very sweet.
All right. Members, let us move to the last resolution of the day before we get on to the business, and that is Latino Heritage Month. Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Guerra and Chenier.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to thank all of our folks here, and I know we're losing on some of our commissioners here. And particularly, I want to recognize, because I know they've got to go and take a quick photo here, but I want to recognize some of our Latino commissioners here. Rita Guerra-Good, who couldn't be here, Victoria Vasquez, Commissioner Joe Flores over here, Commissioner David Guerrero over on the front here side, and we are celebrating, we're recognizing today Latino Heritage Month that comes from the National Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. And this is obviously personally important to me, but it's important to talk about why National Hispanic Heritage Month was created and why we celebrate here and we recognize this celebration every year. This all started back in 1968 when President Lyndon Johnson first recognized Latino Heritage, Hispanic Heritage Week, and then also later on in 1988 the celebration of a month's worth of recognition. but it was born about an understanding what was happening at the time. I mean, LULAC, the League of United Latin American Citizens, these were folks who had fought, many in World War II, who came back and were not being recognized. Many of them didn't get their veterans benefits. They were being treated disproportionately in 1945, also around that time. You had the Orange County school system that LULAC sued to make sure to end segregation of schools. The late Cruz Reynoso, who's appeared before us many times before, went to one of those segregated schools. And then 1954 was one of pivotal moments that created a lot of this impetus to begin to say we need to recognize and make sure that we don't forget the contributions that our Latino community provide. In the Hernandez versus State of Texas case, where Mexican Americans had never served on a jury in the state of Texas, if you can imagine that. And so when we talk about civic participation, citizen participation, the participation of our community in the recognition of their contributions in our military, in our schools, and in our business community too. This year we celebrate 50 years of the Sacramento Hispanic Chamber of Commerce contribution to our city, and also in even the most difficult of times, our Latino businesses, such as La Esperanza Bakery, through recession, through pandemic, they kept their doors open. Today, with us today, if I could ask, El Señor Jorge Plasencia, Kathy Rodriguez, Kendra Macias, and all our commissioners, Latino commissioners who could join us to the podium here real quick to recognize Latino Heritage Month, which begins September 15th through October 15th and coincides with the Independence Day movement of many of the Central and Latin American countries, all of which came about because of abolition of slavery and making sure that we could end slavery in the Americas, even before the United States approached its conversation about slavery. And so I want to recognize also Kathy Rodriguez from the Hispanic Chamber has brought some beautiful rebosos like this one here. And Councilmember Chenier is going to model one here. I'm going to pass these out, each one for the council member. You know, the reboso is a very much popular tradition here.
Thank you.
We should have enough here. Enough for everyone here.
One for
We
Mario
might have
here.
one for Mario here. Do we have one for Mario? Here we go. I got one for Mario. Yeah. And how fitting that we have our Assistant City Manager, Mario, and also Kevin Hector Barone here today, talking about the recognitions to our city. But we were here accepting the resolution today is El Señor Jorge Plasencia and his family, the Plasencia family, with La Esperanza Bakery. This one little bakery on Franklin Boulevard has been the gateway to our city and has helped maintain and support other businesses throughout the Franklin corridor area, and made sure not only just in the South area, but his family has been a pivotal supporter of all of Sacramento's, making sure that we didn't forget the contributions of our community, whether it was in Northgate and the rich contributions of the Latino community, or whether it was in the Alkali Flats. You know, if you remember the Royal Chicano Air Force and the movement, the Plasencia family were pivotal in creating El Comité Patriótico and Los Concilios, and making sure that through every iteration of what was going on, that the respect for our Latino community was not forgotten in their contributions as well. So with that, I want to pass this over to Councilmember Chenier, because we have a great celebration this Sunday on Franklin Boulevard, and that Kendra Macias and also El Señor Plasencia have been actively involved into making sure we can support the business community and our families on the Franklin corridor.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for saying everything that was on my list.
Oh.
All good, but maybe we could ask Kendra for a second to talk about what's happening Sunday.
Oh,
and give us a little bit of a preview, and if
I'll be
people
happy
want to
to.
come, where that is. And then I have a few things I'd like to say.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I am Kendra Macias Reed with the Franklin Boulevard Business District. On Sunday, the 18th, We will be celebrating the Franklin District and Mexican Independence Day with a car cruise up and down the boulevard. We'll be closed from 12th Avenue to Fruit Ridge to the south. And really, it's just about recognizing the history, the heritage, and the culture of car cruising on our boulevard in Franklin. And recognizing, again, our amazing district, which historically was a port of entry for the immigrants here in Sacramento. And so we want to continue that legacy and that recognition. So again, it's Franklin Boulevard from 12th Avenue to Fruit Ridge this Sunday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to be a huge celebration, live music, celebrations up and down the boulevard. So for the public out there, it's a free event, free for the entire family. So we would love to have everyone there.
Great, thank you, Kendra.
And really quickly, I just want to say to Senor Plasencia, La Esperanza Bakery, we consider La Esperanza a legacy business in not just our corridor, but in the city of Sacramento. Forbes 500 recognized the Panaderia as one of the top 500 businesses in the United States that we cannot lose during the pandemic. So again, Senor Plasencia, I just want to say thank you to your family. Thank you to, he's our president for the board for the Franklin Business Association. Thank you for your contributions to the city. Thank you.
More than happy to be able to help. Great. And next time you have to bring some food. I want to be brief. I think Eric did a great job here. 29% of our population are Latinos in the city of Sacramento. But it goes so far beyond that into really the culture and all of our stories of how people got here and what they've been able to do. And Franklin Boulevard, which I think, with respect to all the folks who've been working so hard on it and money coming in from SACOG really around complete streets and the planning that we're doing, I think will very soon be restored to the fame that it had as a gateway into Sacramento. So I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. This is not an easy task, but what you've done and what the chamber has done and all of the activity that's going on Franklin Boulevard, I think is really going to remake it into a remarkable street that we'll all be very, very proud of. So thank you for the work that you're doing. And we'll come down and do a resolution.
Senor Plasencia, a few words. I know you have 3 generations of Plasencias who have been involved in keeping the heritage alive.
Thank you. Señor Eric Guerra, gracias por el reconocimiento. Thank you to the City Council and Mayor. Es un honor estar presente con usted. It's an honor to be present here with you, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank my wife who's here. Nelly Plasencia took the time. It's her birthday today, so she allowed me to be here. So. real fortunate to have a wife that be supportive of the business. There's a few things. We've been around for 50 years, as you have mentioned it. It's a legacy, yes, but the help, we had big leaders in Sacramento. As Mayor Joe Serna was a pillar in this community. Not only did he help the Mexican-American community in Franklin, at one time we were called the ugliest street in Sacramento. We had the electricity pole, he was able to remove those. He was great help to Franklin Business Association. In a couple of years, you'll see the big difference, what the Franklin Business Association is doing to make this a better community for all the people in the neighborhood. Sorry, I'm getting a little nervous. Then again, we've been fortunate to have the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for 50 years. We were just celebrated on Thursday. Beautiful celebration. The mayor was present. We were fortunate to be there too with the invitation of Sergio Ortiz. Once again, I'm fortunate to be here in Sacramento. I want to thank my kids who have been helping. They've been involved. My nephews, nieces. It's a family business. And the main thing is we're here for the community, and I'm really fortunate to be here in front of you guys. Thank you. And
we're the ones that are fortunate. So thank you.
For the pan dulce, and thank God that you guys have been really supportive, everyone. So whenever you're in the area, you're more than happy to drop by and have a pan dulce, una conchita, No.
O dos.
Oh, dos. Thank you and appreciate it once again. Thank you.
Where's the plaza?
I just wanted to take a second to just congratulate the whole crew. Good job on acknowledging them, District 5 and 6, but also couldn't let Kathy be here so close to her big event without saying to her, wow. I mean, that 50th anniversary, right, Mayor? That was
Unbelievable.
unbelievable. You really turned that Golden One Center into, it just looked like a movie set. It was spectacular. What a celebration of culture and love and diversity. I was so honored to be there. Actually stayed all the way till the end, as you know, with Karina Talamontes, my chief of staff. She enjoyed every minute of that dance floor and every song that played. You guys did an amazing job of showcasing some of the best of Sacramento, and I was so proud of you and so proud of the chamber and honored to be there and be part of it that night. And thank you, Mayor, for letting me come up with you to present the resolution on behalf of the city, because boy, was that a special night. The party of the year easily.
Sure was. Well, let's present the resolution, which is, you know, resolutions are just very small tokens of appreciation. But I hope when you look at it, that you will know that from the heart, the leadership and the entire community of Sacramento deeply appreciates all that you do, all you mean to the community, all you meant to the community, and all you will mean to the community going forward as we build the city we all want to build. So thank you.
Yeah, I got the pictures, man. That's good. Is it okay if I just move forward a little bit? Yeah. Okay. Señora, ¿puedo pasar aquí para sacar otro? Yo voy a hacer.
Okay, okay.
Hey, Joe, ask him if he wants to come sit in the seat. You want to sit? You want to come sit?
All right. Members, if only the whole meeting could be presentations honoring great contributors in our community. But we do need to get to the business at hand tonight. And let us begin with the consent calendar, items 1 through 5. Are there any items that members would like to be heard separately, voted on separately, discussed separately? All right, then let's take a motion on the consent calendar, members.
I'll move consent, Mayor.
Moved in second, Councilmember Valenzuela, Vice Mayor Ashby. Do we have public testimony?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I do have a few online and one in chambers. The first is Mac Worthy. I'm speaking on item 3 and 4. I would like to remind members of the public, if you would like to speak on the consent calendar, if you are in council chambers, fill out a speaker slip. If you're in Zoom, raise your hand. After the first speaker, we will no longer accept speaker slips, and the raise hand feature in Zoom will be disabled. So these are speakers on the consent calendar. Mr. Worthy?
Yes, good afternoon. People, we still get money in here on homeless, and we still got people living on the street. Somebody lying. Somebody got to stand up and take charge of what's going on here. You can't keep peddling, pimping the people for money, and these people still living outside. Wake up. The train coming. You're going to be caught in the crossfire here of that money, because I'm going to start requesting freedom of information on dollars that come through the city council here. You're a nonprofit. 90% of your money goes out of here, and you peddle those people for votes. Neighborhood association, Who they employ? Nobody. Get out of social life and get into economics. Wake up, people, and do something about the unemployment and the babies going down the tube. Our babies going down the tube because you are not doing a job, because 90% of you don't know what the hell you are doing in the economic world. You can't keep letting China put money here and do anything because the money being controlled. This is not a big town city that it never will be. I'm 81 years old. I've been here 62 years, and I know where it started from. Wake up, people. We're going to have to do something. And between now and July, the train coming. And you may see me testify on some federal law here, too.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Daniel Savala. Following Daniel is Michael.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Daniel Savala, the Executive Director for the Del Paso Boulevard Partnership. I'm calling today to speak on item number 3. First and foremost, I'm not calling to oppose tonight's vote, but I'm just calling to ask for a better working relationship with the program operator. I'm very proud that Sacramento offers and Del Paso Boulevard is home to a facility that's serving women and families, which has not been much of a problem on Del Paso Boulevard. However, from time to time, there are some incidents that happen in and around the facility, particularly on Oxford. And this hotel, which is a former redevelopment property, which was redeveloped to be an economic driver for some of the small businesses that are in the immediate vicinity. King Kong Brewery, Shift Coffee, Southpaw Sushi, and now Little Joe's, which is back open. When we take away an amenity like a hotel and we lose a customer base, it does have a negative impact on the business. I'm calling tonight to ask the city to give some direction to staff to please reach out to us. I'd like to strengthen our relationship with the property owner to make sure that we can continue to serve the kids and families there with a lot of the great programming here in the area. And we have someone we can reach out to when there's a van or an RV or someone who's been kicked out of the facility on the street. So again, not a big issue with the facility being there, but I want to recognize that we'd love to strengthen our relationship with the facility manager and see that when issues arise, the Department of Community Response or the hotel staff itself are better equipped to handle some of the challenges that we do face from time to time. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Michael, and then the following is a phone number, 4366. Mr. Davis? Michael, if you'll unmute. Michael, if you'll unmute. I'm going to move to the next speaker, Mr. Davis.
Yes, I'm not sure if I was able to comment on the resolutions. I had my hand up, and I know it's the consent calendar, so it will be brief. I just wanted to say that's a great thing, recognizing 916 as a native, anything that recognizes 916 in a positive way. And to the Latino and Hispanic community, which I encountered while growing up in Sacramento, especially going to Grant High School, we had a great Spanish teacher there. His name was Mr. Gutierrez. He actually taught us how to read, write, and speak Spanish very well. It's a lot of non-Latino and Hispanics that come out of Grant High School that can read, write, and speak Spanish, FYI. And to the Chicano community, which we became very acquainted with in the 70s, we had a great teacher there, an art teacher named Miss Mazio. If you ask anyone who went to Grant, they'll remember those two wonderful people. So anytime that I see that culture being recognized, I wanted to make sure they knew that they had support from somebody who's been here a long time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Michael, if you'll unmute. It appears Michael's having technical difficulties, so I have no more speakers, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. There's a motion and a second on the consent calendar. Let us call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Ashby?
Yes.
Councilmember Laloie?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela.
Yes.
Councilmember Chenier.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Councilmember Vang.
Yes.
And Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. All right, the consent calendar passes. Members, we have one significant item tonight, and it is discussion item number 7. Ask Chief Lester to come on up. I'd like to make a couple of opening remarks before I turn it over to Chief Lester. Members of the public, the issues we'll be discussing tonight are matters of great public interest, and undoubtedly they will elicit a lot of passion and maybe even controversy. And, you know, this is the chamber and this is the forum to have those discussions. I want to describe, and I know the chief will describe, the limited context at which, around the decision we actually have to make tonight. All right? And again, the discussion is free to be had in any way as long as it's related to the subject matter. But we are required under state law now, Assembly Bill 481, to essentially certify on an annual basis the use of the equipment that we are going to discuss here tonight. In addition, Assembly Bill 48, passed around the same time in 2021, specifically describes in individualized cases when and under what circumstances officers may use any of this equipment. So the law is already clear when it can be used. A bill authored by a reform bill, I think it's fair to say, authored by then Assembly member Lorena Gonzalez from San Diego. And so it's important to note tonight as we consider this that virtually all of the equipment at issue here has already been purchased by the city. And we already have it, with the exception of about $190,000 worth of potential replacement equipment. And so what I'm most interested in, and I think the council and the public is interested in, is tonight, regardless of what the decision on the specific context is tonight, is the roadmap going forward for how we ensure full transparency. Obviously compliance with the law itself, but Chief Lester, you have already demonstrated, as did your predecessor, wanting to go above and beyond the law in terms of the spirit. And that is, how do we work with the police commission to make sure that the policies around the utilization of this equipment going forward, that there is as much community consensus as possible. How do we make sure that the data is readily available to the council and the public so that we know and the public knows how this is being used, if it's being used, under what circumstances, in what neighborhoods, so that people can draw their own conclusions and judgments. So there's an opportunity here, regardless of one's opinion on the underlying issue, to set a roadmap going forward about how we want to address these issues going forward. I just wanted to say that because the discussion can be wide-ranging, and we do have a limited context set of decisions to make tonight, but it's really what we do going forward that I think is most important. Chief Lester?
Thank you, Mayor. Boy, I couldn't have said it any better. Absolutely. And this is new, truly, to most California law enforcement agencies. So everyone's really trying to navigate this and refine and develop the best process. So we are here tonight to seek the adoption of our revised military equipment use policy and to also share the annual military equipment use report, which is also required by the legislation. I first need to thank our team because we've had a number of people that have been working on this for months. Deputy Chief Norm Leong is going to be doing the main presentation after I make some opening comments, but he's been accompanied by Captain Marnie Steigert. She's joining us remotely. Lieutenant Greg Galliano, who's overseeing our policy division, works very closely with the commission, and Lieutenant Robbie Young, who is our Metro Lieutenant, is really a subject matter expert on this. And so I know there's probably going to be some extensive public comment, and we will be available for questions on anything that you might have afterwards. So as you know, state legislation requires all law enforcement agencies in California to obtain approval from its governing body, the council in this case, prior to funding, acquiring, or using any equipment as defined under AB 481. Back in December, on December 14th, City Council approved our policy on military equipment use. It was our first one to comply with this legislation and allow us to continue to use this vital equipment. In addition to this approval, agencies are also required to obtain council approval annually to authorize the ongoing use of the equipment and to present an annual use report, which is what we will be doing tonight. I've been following the comments very closely, and Norm's going to go into some great detail about what that feedback was. But one thing I saw was that military equipment seems to be needs to be clarified. It does not mean that the equipment has been in the military or used by the military. The state legislation really is very broad in its definition of items under the title, and it includes things like unmanned aerial systems, which are known as drones, certain types of vehicles, even if they're commercial vehicles, if they're for police use, as well as things like long-range acoustic devices. Most of our less lethal tools as well are included in that. Items that are used by our department and defined by AB 41 are obtained, and we use them based on national best practices, really to enhance officer and community safety. I can tell you that we as an agency are very much committed to using the best options available to safeguard our community and are committed to providing our officers with the ability to safely resolve volatile situations. Without this equipment, officers' options are going to be limited, and situations that may have been resolved at a lower level of force, if necessary, may have greater potential to rise to a higher level, even to the level of lethal force. So I feel that we must equip officers in the field with tools that can help them avoid the use of deadly force to our greatest ability. So as part of his presentation, Deputy Chief Leong is going to share some real-life examples of where these items have really been able to save lives and prevent further harm. And I will talk about the data piece that you mentioned as well, Mayor, at the end. So this legislation states the public has the right, rightly so, to know about these decisions and to participate in government's decision to fund, acquire, or use such equipment. Additionally, decisions about these items must give strong consideration to the public's welfare, safety, civil rights, civil liberties, and should be based on meaningful public input. So our department brought this item before law and legislation on March 29th of this year. And at that meeting, the committee asked us to ensure that the policies associated with each piece of equipment were included in the policy, in this general policy, and that we also include some additional clarification to ensure that the individual use of this equipment complies with AB 41. So we have worked extensively with our city attorney on this as well. Additionally, in addition to that request, our department conducted a large public survey with the assistant of the city clerk's office. We opened an online portal for about 30 days between April 21st and May 20th, and we received over 1,200 responses. Tonight, we will discuss the input and what changes were made to the policy based on that input. Then in June, on June 21st of this year, the Law and Legislation Committee passed a motion to forward this matter to the larger city council with direction that the department seek additional community input. So we conducted 3 public meetings, and they were held throughout the city in July. So we will also share the topics that were discussed in those meetings, some of the questions that came up, some additional clarification that we made to this policy, as well as some changes that I think that we can do moving forward. Finally, the city also received written correspondence on this item, and our team has met with members of the Police Commission to discuss this policy. Additional changes and some recommendations have been made based on the input. So currently, this revised policy includes items that have been in use by the department, as the mayor well stated, in addition to several items that we're adding since our last report, and we have to obviously seek approval before we can use those. So for the most part, all of the equipment listed in the policy is currently in use and has been in use even before the implementation of the legislative reporting requirement. I do want to highlight that the policy includes most of our less lethal equipment. And this is a really important piece because it's really these types of tools that allow for patrol officers in the field, when confronted with violence, to resort to something other than deadly force. You know, at one time, law enforcement really had very few tools: a baton, pepper spray, and a firearm. Later, that was expanded expanded to include tasers or conducted energy devices. And now we have more options available because technology has certainly improved. So our goal is really to provide for public safety here. We are tasked with resolving, as you know, high-risk and dangerous situations in a manner which best provides for a safe outcome for the public and our officers. So not only does the equipment in this policy provide for greater public safety, not less, it also supports the work of this council over the past several years, which has provided our department with some additional less lethal tools and training, such as crisis intervention training for all of our officers, the addition of a force options simulator at our training center. We've had ongoing support, which we very much appreciate, for updating our policies based really on nationwide best practices and input. And we've also been able to really expand our less lethal options. For a historical perspective, in February of 2017, this council approved funding to expand those options and training to all field operations personnel. At the time, the majority of our patrol staff really had very minimal access to less lethal options and ballistic protection. So with this funding, we were able to replace some outdated equipment. We were also able to ensure that we had more access to additional less lethal options. And the funding allowed for patrol officers to also have ballistic shields specifically designed to protect them from handguns, long guns, shotguns, edged weapons, hand-thrown projectiles, as well as provided first aid kits for officers so that they are able to render emergency medical aid as quickly as possible. So I really want to thank the council for providing funding and support of these best practices. So in summary, the policy that we're presenting to you today complies with the requirements of AB 481. It specifically outlines every item as required by AB 481, including its current use, its cost, with the exception of new procurement requests, the item's stated uses, and now, in the last revision, includes references to all of the associated policies on their use, in addition to our department's use of force policy, which is really the overarching guiding policy for all applications of force. And as you may remember, the department included community members and a representative from the police commission in the development of our department's use of force policy. So ultimately, this ordinance and the annual use report puts accountability and oversight measures in place, as was the intent of the legislature. It's also in line with our department's and certainly my commitment to transparency. The annual use report will be presented tonight as well. This is a product of our inspections and standards team, and they ensure compliance with AB 41. They conduct an annual audit of our military equipment and will produce this report on an annual basis. The report contains usage of the equipment, any unauthorized usage or complaints, includes an inventory of current equipment, fiscal impacts, and projected acquisition of the equipment. Just for perspective, I want to address kind of the overall use of this by giving an example. In 2021, we responded to about 170,000 calls for service from our community, and that was in addition to about 80,000 officer-initiated calls. It's estimated that we contacted at least 250,000 people, and that's if you only contacted one person on each of those calls. Out of all those contacts, we had reportable use of force 97 times. So specific to this current reporting period, as you'll see tonight, the inspection standards team audits found that the department has no uses that are out of compliance with policy, and there have been no complaints related to the use of this equipment. So tonight, in addition to presenting the ordinance and the use report, there's a couple other things that we would like to do moving forward. We received feedback from the community about the community meetings, and we're trying to make those more effective, as well as really seek the public's input in a strategic way. So by working with the Police Commission, I believe that we can work to design a process for seeking community input that addresses some of the issues that were brought forward. So I would like to do that moving forward in the next few months. There is also really a need for data around this issue. To the mayor's point about when we use this equipment, how it's used, demographics of those involved, neighborhoods, and I would really like to get to that place for us. And so at some point, we may need to add some additional staff, but in the meantime, what I know we can do is provide some additional information in our annual report that links the viewer or the reader of that report to a lot of the databases that we already have. And I do want to tell that story, so I'm very much in support of that. In our current policy, we have information about how to make a complaint, but a recommendation was brought to us to make sure that we also include the reporting through the Office of Public Safety Accountability. So in the next revision, I would like to include that as well as a recommendation that for the vehicles that we include links to the use of police vehicle policy, and that's specifically for the crisis negotiation team vehicle, our mobile incident command vehicle, and all of our armored vehicles in the next revision. And then there is some, I guess, confusion over one portion of the policy, which really is where council is giving approval to allow the police department to purchase up to 10% more than the authorized amount of equipment in case of emergency. This is currently in the policy that's being proposed tonight, but we would like to have council reaffirm that that is their clear intent. So in conclusion, this is an ordinance and process that's required by state legislation. The items in the ordinance are essentially items that we already have in stock, with the exception of a few more that we'll be adding since our last revision in December. We are not seeking any additional funding to support this initiative or this equipment, only authority to procure additional items as necessary. We're currently seeking grant funding for a vehicle. However, even if we were to get that grant funding, we would certainly need to come before council and get approval for it before we could accept it or before we could make a purchase. And currently, we're asking for approval to spend up to about $190,000 if necessary in replacement and repairs to the existing approved equipment. So tonight, we are seeking approval of this ordinance as written. It has already been vetted and approved through L&L, as I stated, and we will be bringing forward, as you know, these policies are living documents, a revised draft policy to law and legislation sometime in early 2023, so we can get it through that process and bring it back in conjunction with the fiscal year, which is our intent to present it at that time every year. So thank you for your attention to this. With that, I will turn it over to Deputy Chief Leong, who will do the presentation. So thank you for allowing me to make some remarks before we got started.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Norm Leong, Deputy Chief for your Police Department. Tonight, we're presenting a request to repeal Ordinance 2021-0034, approve a new ordinance for our military equipment use, and present to you the first annual military equipment use report. Assembly Bill 481, codified as California Government Code 7070-27075, mandated law enforcement agency to obtain approval by the governing body by ordinance adopting a military equipment use policy. As stated earlier, in March, we went before Law and Leg Committee with an amendment to the December 2021 policy. At the March Law and Leg meeting, the committee requested us to gather public input and add some clarity to the use of each piece of equipment. In June, we went back to Law and Leg with the requested input and clarity of use. Due to the timing of coming back to council, we're bringing before you today our yearly renewal of the military equipment use policy and the annual report. In the future, we will come before council in conjunction with the fiscal year. In drafting the updated policy and the annual report, the department worked with the city clerk's office to conduct an online community input on the policy. Through the outreach, we received 1,274 public comments. Based on the comments raised by the community, we made the following modifications to our policy and annual report. We added a mutual aid component to the policy, which was also brought up by the Police Commission, League of Women Voters, and ACLU. We added language to every equipment use referencing AB 48, which is now Penal Code 13652, which limits police use of projectiles and chemical agents during protests. This was brought up by the community as well as the Police Commission and League of Women Voters. We added language notating the specific policies that govern use of each equipment, allowing anyone to go to our transparency page to view the limitations, the policies and laws related to the use. This was a common theme amongst community members who felt that the policy on the use of the equipment was limitless. We also took out language that stated not limited to on the use at the recommendation of ACLU and council members. We separated each type of firearm from various ammunition, which was a recommendation brought forth by the Police Commission. We added language in the annual report to provide community feedback via email and direct contact. We modified language to clarify the department shall obtain council approval before the equipment is purchased, acquired, and received. We limited the use of our LRAD to be used as a PA system only, taking out the ability to chirp and siren features, and we're currently modifying the policy. Other comments received on the policy were items we are already required to provide in our annual report. They including reported use, violations of use, cost of the equipment, and possible future purchases. In addition to the online community input, we conducted 3 citywide, what we call Cops and Coffee, but they were community meetings, to allow feedback on the military use equipment policy and annual report. Each meeting, we'd have staff member take notes. The first meeting was on Wednesday, July 13th, held at Valley High Community Center at 5 p.m. There was approximately 12 attendees. Some of the feedback included the desire for police to give up all equipment and use the funding instead for parks and schools. There was a request for clarification that council approval of this policy would allow us to purchase equipment noted without additional council approval. Comments related to were made regarding the 2018 and 2020 protests were made. Comments regarding our use of the equipment in the past were made. There were questions on the need for 40mm launchers and the need for unmanned aerial vehicles. The second meeting occurred on Saturday, July 16th at 2 p.m. at Wynn Park. There were approximately 30 attendees at that meeting. Some of the feedback included questions on facial recognition, questions on drone usage, requests for a moderator at future meetings, and the ability for online attendance options. Questions on target areas of less lethal and accountability for the use of force. The third meeting was held Monday, July 18th at 10:30 a.m. at the Neighborhood Wellness Center. In attendance were approximately 30 people. Based on the community feedback with wanting a non-police moderator, we had Gina Warren from Neighborhood Wellness moderate that meeting. Some of the feedback included comments on accountability measures for those that misuse the equipment, questions on whether we use HC gas, comment for more services for drug addiction and activity and resources for youth versus more police equipment. Through those community meetings, we reviewed our inventory of HC smoke, which was a concern brought up by one of the community members, as noted before. We found out although we had stock of the HC smoke, not the gas, we no longer use that type of smoke and have since disposed of it. We added clarification on our quantity of units versus boxes on certain inventory of ammunition. We modified the content and structure of each meeting based on the feedback being given from community members as we went forward, including the request for the moderator, being myself, to not be in uniform. So for the last meeting, I did not wear a uniform. We also changed the presentation to allow for less kind of verbal comments by us in the beginning and allow for more comments to be made by the public. The ordinance replacement process will be presented annually as stated before. The ordinance replaces, updates the one council approved on December 14th, 2021. The ordinance before you today includes changes suggested by the community and our annual possible procurements. It is important to note that the procurements are just possibilities, as required prior to any purchase, and we are not asking for additional budget augmentation for the purchases. Most of the equipment in this policy, as stated before, and the annual report has been purchased prior to the enactment of AB 481. In fact, many of the less lethal equipment was added at the request of Mayor and Council during the 2017 fiscal year, as an effort to get additional options to officers beyond lethal force to include pepper ball for patrol, conversion of our shotguns to beanbag rounds, shields, 40mm impact rounds, and flameless chemical agents. This total increase of less lethal options was over $650,000 authorized by this council, or the council. In addition, the less lethal options are consistent with the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing. Moving on to the annual report. This is our first one. The report has various sections that include annual use of the equipment from December 14th, 2021 to April 30th, 2022. It's approximately 90 pages. We have no use of equipment at any of the First Amendment events during this reporting period. During this reporting period, we utilized the unmanned aerial systems the most with 139 uses. The second most utilized item was the armored vehicle, which was deployed 79 times. Both of these pieces of equipment are utilized to provide time and separation to protect officers and community members from dangerous situations and to minimize confrontation in an attempt to resolve incidents as safely as possible. Other uses of equipment include the pepper ball being used 4 times and the beanbag shotgun being used 7 times. There are 0 uses of chemical agents during this reporting period. I'm going to provide a few examples for you of actual instances of the use. The first notates our drones, or the UAS, armored vehicle, and the beanbag shotgun. On April 25th, 2022, officers responded to a call of a person being held at gunpoint against their will. Upon arrival, officers heard a gunshot and set up around the house and brought out the armored vehicle to provide cover from the armed suspect. The drone, or UAS, was used to provide a view from above the house and was able to see the suspect come out of the backyard with a gun pointed at the victim's head. As the call progressed, officers used the drone to deliver a cell phone to the suspect in an effort to negotiate a peaceful surrender through communication with the suspect. Later, the UAS was flown in through a bathroom window to locate the victim, which then caused the suspect to put his hands up and surrender to the UAS. As the suspect came out of the house, he did not follow officers' commands and had not yet been searched for the gun that he had earlier. Officers were able to use the deployment of the beanbag shotgun and get compliance from the suspect. Ultimately, a tragic event was avoided for all involved parties with the use of the equipment. Other examples of the use of the equipment include the use of the pepper ball during this reporting period. On March 14, 2022, officers were dispatched to a person using a vehicle to intentionally ram other vehicles. Officers found the suspect sitting in the car and tried to negotiate with the person to surrender. Pepper balls were introduced into the car, and the suspect surrendered without further injuries or damage. A third example of the use, April 5th, 2022. Officers began chasing a subject who was wanted for 2 felony warrants, one of the crimes involving a firearm. The suspect fled, but was located and being monitored by a UAS. Officer tried to negotiate with the suspect to surrender. Ultimately, due to the suspect possibly being armed and his refusal to surrender, a less lethal 40mm impact OC and pepper ball was deployed. The suspect was taken into custody safely without any further use of force. My final example for you tonight, on July 7th, 2021, which was outside the reporting period, but is an indication of how the equipment's used, patrol officers pursued a stolen vehicle near Fruit Ridge and 65th Street. While in pursuit of the vehicle, the suspect started shooting at officers. The suspect ran from the car through a field into a residential neighborhood and broke into a house. As the homeowner fled the residence, the suspect then barricaded himself inside, still armed with a firearm. Patrol units established a perimeter, and SWAT, negotiators, and UAVs were called out. The suspect started to shoot at officers from inside the house again. The gunshot struck the armored vehicle while SWAT team and negotiators were using it as protection. Officers did not shoot back at the suspect, instead used emergency gas into the residence. The suspect also stated he was armed with a bomb. The suspect surrendered to officers after the gas deployment. The UAS was used to fly through the house to make sure there was no signs of a bomb. This event could have ended more tragically if we did not have the use of this equipment. The annual report contains details on each piece of equipment to include the total number of each item we currently have, items we may purchase, fiscal impacts, complaints related to the use of the equipment, images, and legal procedural rules around the use of each equipment. This reporting period, we did not have any complaints as stated earlier. The amount of equipment we may purchase, including maintenance and replacement for UAS, is a total of $106,000. The other $84,000 is for maintenance and replacement of all the other equipment. As noted earlier, we have a possible acceptance of a grant of $408,000. We are asking the council to approve this ordinance, which will allow us to continue to use the equipment, which has been shown to provide de-escalation, less lethal options, and provide for overall safety of the community. And that concludes my presentation today. We'll be available to answer questions at the conclusion of public comments.
Thank you very much. I'm sure there will be questions, but let us begin with the public testimony. I know we have 24 speakers, Madam Clerk?
I believe I have just over 30.
Just over 30. All right. Let's begin the public testimony, and then we'll turn it over to the City Council.
Thank you. I would like to remind members of the public, if you would like to speak on this agenda item, if you are in council chambers, please fill out a speaker slip. If you are in Zoom, please raise your hand. After the first speaker is taken, we will no longer accept speaker slips in chambers, and the raise hand feature in Zoom will be disabled. So our first speaker is Carly Brannon, then Mackenzie Wilson, then Robert Copeland. And please feel free to line up in the aisle.
My name's Carly. My pronouns are they, them. I'm here today as a member of the Anti-Police Terror Project and of Mental Health First. I am also here as a resident of District 2 and as someone who has multiple loved ones who have been directly negatively impacted by the use of military equipment by Sacramento Police Department. In the summer of 2020, many of my friends were beaten, pepper sprayed, and shot with rubber bullets and tear gas canisters fired from grenade launchers that police fired indiscriminately into a crowd of peaceful protesters. One of my friends who had just arrived with the intent to give people food and water because they had been out there protesting all day long. They showed up just to feed people, and they were shot in the face with 2 rubber bullets and one of those tear gas canisters that had been launched from a grenade launcher that I just spoke about. This resulted in multiple skull fractures, a near fatal brain bleed, caused their jaw to be completely shattered, and has resulted in a lifetime of post-traumatic stress disorder. I also experienced PTSD symptoms relating to that evening, trying to find them after they were almost murdered. I thought they were dead. Just a year prior to that, I saw SAC-PD's SWAT team roll up on an apartment complex in Meadowview with 2 Bearcats and a bomb-detonating robot to blow open an apartment door for a bench warrant. SAC-PD has shown us that they cannot use this equipment responsibly and that they will use it against civilians, not to keep us safe. I demand that you reject this.
Next speaker is Mackenzie Wilson, and then Robert Copeland.
Good evening. You know me as Mackenzie Wilson, community organizer with Incarcerate Sacramento and the Sacramento Tenants, but you mostly know me as an advocate for basic human rights and needs for years. Well, this work has put me in the position of being harassed and harmed by your department for quite a long time. Whether that's bike cops calling me and my son's name out at a park, parking out in front of my house or my hangouts, Norm Leon, before his promotion, beating me with his bike for saying kids in cages matter, and Edgerton holding a taser to my body so long I have permanent scars on my chest. Well, I bring these things to your attention again because it helps demonstrate your department's harm to this community and speaks to their willful ignorance as to why 481 exists in the first place. You can see it as they continue to toe the line that they wouldn't call this military gear, and why one officer at Coffee and Cops said the 1,200 people who said they don't want SAC-PD having these things don't know what they're talking about. Well, we do, and it's y'all's negligence to be willing to admit the harm they caused is why we're here and why 481 exists. Requirements 1 through 4 are severely lacking, and this policy reflects a dereliction of your duties and SAC-PD's Oh, man, they haven't shown the equipment is necessary. A friend told me that any form of violence or force is psychotic at most, lazy at best. So either the psychotic nature or laziness of this policy is why it doesn't look further than forced de-escalation, and why 40% of your budget goes to their department and its weapons of war means that we don't have any money on to teach or foster cultures of violence prevention and how to minimize intercommunal harm. They haven't shown that this will safeguard the public's welfare, civil rights, or civil liberties when thousands of constituents have said they don't feel safe with their cops having it, and we had our civil liberties trampled on by them. You know, I think requirement 4 is my favorite, the one where SAC PD has to show it complied with its own policies in the past. Well, not only did Officer Bogozzi use his discretion to point me and other advocates that he doesn't like out before our bodies were full of rubber bullets, and they did it to many, but Bogozzi and others still have their jobs, and y'all are still settling lawsuits over how incompliant with their rules and the training they had before they killed almost thousands
Thank
in
you for your
2020.
comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
One sentence, yes. Stop giving them a license to kill us and begin to address the
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Robert Copeland. Our next speaker is Robert Copeland and then Manuel. Robert Copeland, then Manuel.
Your public outreach on this issue was very poor. I didn't know nothing about it. I mean, the police chief and the deputy police chief do a better job doing outreach. And how many people were injured during the George Floyd protest or even earlier on the Stephon Clark protest? I mean, they just shoot peaceful protests at random. I don't support this. Do the police department know what they're doing? I'm questioning that. I don't think they do. I mean, LRAS system, why do you need a thing that potentially can damage your eardrums, cause you nausea? I mean, that thing goes up to about 150 to 160 decibels, which is very loud. I mean, really? Get your act together. Work with the public instead of against the public. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Manuel and then Margot Ronaldo.
Buenas tardes. Good evening. I'm Manuel Barajas, professor of sociology at Sac State, co-founder of the Center on Race, Immigration, and Social Justice. I want to encourage you to demilitarize the police. I thought that you were considering further funding for the use of military equipment, but I see that the police department already has this equipment. I want to talk from a personal standpoint. I'm a professor at Sac State for 20 years. I've been profiled as a professor as I drive to work. I've been stopped. I jog along the American River. Once I was profiled and a gun was pulled out on me without me knowing that I was being followed by a cop. And I was jogging with shorts. A biker, they had me on my knees for 5 minutes. I told them, you're profiling. I'm a professor in sociology. Look me up in your iPhone. This was 10 years ago. After that, I was profiled. I was followed through campus. Anyways, militarizing the police. The term militarizing may be broad, but it communicates war, control, domination. Some of us come from histories of oppression. Brown, Mexican, indigenous background, Purépecha, Jaripo, Black. We have a history of not being treated fairly, equitably, and we see that. There's research. There's no disputing that. We need to demilitarize the police. The example from the top down, they need to show us that they can go and advance safety without using guns. I know that the world is dangerous. I grew up in Stockton. I've had family that have experienced lethal violence. They've been shot. They've been stabbed. Siblings. I've been jumped. But you know what? I'm more afraid, not of those communities, but of police officers.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
Gracias. Buenas tardes.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Margot Ronaldo, and then demilitarize.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Margot. I am a resident of District 4, and I'm also the co-chair of the Sacramento Democratic Socialists of America. I am speaking to you this evening to urge you to prioritize safety and transparency for our community instead of criminalization and harm. The Sacramento Police Department military equipment policy as written will neither increase community trust or public safety. In fact, if you approve this military equipment policy as is, you will be mismanaging the crucial funds that can instead be used to address the teacher shortages, deteriorating public infrastructure, and mental health services required to create lasting community safety in our communities. With this money, we could hire 4 teachers with benefits just for the price of the Rook alone, which costs $400,000. We could hire 4 teachers. Sacramento City Unified doesn't have 100 teachers that they need right now. Students don't have teachers, and I understand the funding streams might be different, but right now we're talking about priorities. If 40% of the city council budget goes to the police, where's the rest of the money for actual safety, genuine safety for our communities and our students? Our students don't have teachers. Think about that. That is genuine community safety, prioritizing children, prioritizing their care before they end up in the criminal justice system unrightfully. If you approve this policy without genuinely considering the input our community has given, and I know you haven't, you will be eschewing the community investments in favor of increased militarization that continues to delay the much needed social care that our communities desperately deserve. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Demilitarize, and then Mac Worthy.
Hi, I'm here as a member of Sunrise Movement Sacramento in opposition to the militarization of our local police department. The proposed MEU states the long-range acoustic device, LRADs, as have been mentioned tonight, is used to address the public when standard sound amplification equipment is not sufficient. This description fails to recognize the reality that LRADs are also commonly known to be sound cannons or sonic weapons, documented as having caused permanent hearing damage and loss to people who have been targeted. This is due to its capacity to emit sound at high decibels. Later in this same proposed MEU, there is mention of delivering 170 decibels of sound. I'm glad to hear some features of it have been limited to just the PA system, yet according to the CDC, loud noise above 120 decibels can cause immediate harm to your ears. The lack of guidelines preventing the use of sound as a weapon or guidelines to prevent harm through the use of military equipment like LRADs is just one of many emblematic examples of the concern our community has with this entire document. The text of AB 481 specifies the explicit intent to prevent a situation such that law enforcement is seen as an occupying force rather than a public safety service. Why wasn't that slide up longer? Why was that only up there for like 2 seconds before you moved on to the next slide? The text is clear that this proposed MEU policy, that there is a deeper question to address of what effective means to the city council, to Sac PD, and most importantly, to the Sacramentans who will be impacted by the decision made tonight. AB 481 is a step forward that requires this city to develop a much needed policy on military equipment use, but this policy is not it. National best practices are a disgrace if the global uprising in 2020 was not clear enough indication. Global uprising, not specifically here, just in this country. That military equipment is defined by AB 481 may not be used by militaries is not a comfort, especially when the use of some of this equipment would constitute war crimes as internationally
Thank you for
understood.
your comments. Your time is complete. Thank you. Next speaker is Mac Worthy, and then Andy Sunderland. Following Mr. Worthy is Andy Sunderland.
A policy is not a law. Their problem is you. UCLA, throw that out. Here's a young man right here. Wherever he see me, he's gonna come over and shake hands. Black boy here was chief, never even spoke to me. You got something coming in this country, people. Now, the military equipment, I saw some of the drones in operation. He was there in front of my house. You need that. But when to use it and how you present yourself to the community. Just as he said, uniform. A detective can do more than 20 uniforms. She owed me a meeting when she told me. Never told me he was gonna have a meeting. I was ill when these hearings went on. people, we in for something. Now, Department of Justice, the community is classified as terrorists. You better get aware. They're gonna need more than Army equipment. You said more. That's where you pimping these people. More. That's California. California don't even respect the Constitution of the United States. What are you planning for? People, talk to your police department. Try to understand we will need. I had bloodline in South Carolina, first one on the force killed. You don't know what's under that tent. If you bring people out and let them commute, the grant, don't allow them to take the top off that grant. Go to the federal government and get that grant and put people out there that can talk to people, that can encourage people. Listen, you got to gain the respect. These people here is a disgrace.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. I'd like to remind our speakers to address your comments towards the city council, not to staff or the audience. Our next speaker is Andy Sunderland, and then Emily Smet.
Hello, Mayor, Council. My name's Andy Sunderland. I'm also co-chair of the Democratic Socialists of America, Sacramento, and a member of the Sacramento City Teachers Association. I appreciate that what we're seeing here today is a step forward towards transparency. It gives us this opportunity to speak to you about our experiences with this military equipment, which for me is being under threat or on the receiving end, you know, in abridgment of my right to peaceful assembly. And, you know, it's funny that, yeah, we're subjugated to chemical weapons that, you know, would be illegal on the world stage. The only other point I'd make is I've seen pepper balls used very nonchalantly, let's say, to break up fights, you know, during a rowdy holiday celebration at the river. And as a teacher, breaking up fights is something I'm expected to do with my bare hands. So I'd really appreciate if we could hold our community safety officers to a higher standard. Thank you.
And so our next speaker is Emily Smet, and then Sarah Connor.
Good evening, Council. My name is Emily, and I am a resident of District 4, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the Sacramento Democratic Socialists of America. We are urging the City Council to reject the proposed military equipment use policy and instead adopt a policy that prioritizes transparency and safety in our communities. More specifically, we are asking the City Council to, 1, name the Office of Public Safety and Accountability and the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission as the independent reporting bodies in charge of misuse violations. This includes allocating adequate funding from the city's budget to law enforcement to ensure the Office of Public Safety and the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission are able to meet these responsibilities. 2, we are asking that language around the prohibitions of use be added to each item in the policy. Examples of prohibition of use can include phrases such as when dealing with a minor, when dealing with a person with known or suspected physical disabilities, when dealing with a person with known or unknown mental disabilities, when responding to a follow-up after any 988 call, and when responding to a follow-up after any call to the Department of Community Response. 3, equipment that produces hexachloroethane smoke or gas be explicitly excluded from the policy. Hexachloroethane gas is a known carcinogen and can contribute to permanent bodily harm. Allowing this to remain in this policy would put more Sacramentans in harm's way and would not make them any safer. Last, monitoring and evaluating military equipment across specific locations and demographics must be incorporated into this policy. Thank you.
What's the term again? Hexa what?
Hexachloroethane gas.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sarah Connor, then Dawn Knutson.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I'm here as a resident of Sacramento County, someone who works in the city. and a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. As has been pointed out by the ACLU and the Civil Rights Education and Enforcement Center of Northern California, while there have been positive changes to the Sacramento Police Department's proposed revised military equipment use policy, it still does not comply with AB 481 and is still lacking critical specificity in the contexts it designates as appropriate for the use of military equipment. As someone who works in special education with children and young adults with disabilities, I am deeply concerned about how police acquisition and continued use of military equipment, particularly without proper accountability and oversight, will impact my students. People of color with disabilities, particularly Black disabled people and other people of color, are already at higher risk of suffering from police use of excessive force. Putting more weapons or continuing to use the weapons that have already that the police department already owns, including less lethal options such as LRAD system, beanbag rounds, and tear gas and pepper balls in the hands of police without complying with the accountability mechanisms outlined in AB 41 ensures that if the council approves this policy, more Black and brown disabled people will suffer serious physical harm and psychological trauma at the hands of police. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Don Knutson, then Louise Metler.
Good evening, City Council members. I'm a peace activist and a concerned taxpayer because I realize that the military-industrial complex has convinced our federal government to engage in lavish spending on the military, and I'm concerned that they will be using their influence to have you engage in lavish spending as well. I am very worried about their influence, and I will leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Louise Metler, and then Keon Bliss.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. Thank you for your patient attention. I'm here having participated remotely in the two law and legislation committees, submitting comments through the public line. I'm glad some people think that they were responded to, but basically, I don't see much by way of limitations, and it is clear from the text of AB 481 that the intent was to specify how this equipment would not be used, and that's kind of missing there. We have a long suggestion list from the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission that they think is required under AB 481, and that the police say, no one can tell us what to do. So, indeed, I cannot, but you can. So after months of frustration, I am turning to my elected representatives to ask you if you would please direct the police to go back to the Community Police Review Commission and work with them until they get a text that will satisfy both. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Keon Bliss, then Megan White. So Keon Bliss, Megan White, then Courtney Poole.
Greetings, City Council. My name is Keon Bliss. I'm the Vice Chair of the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission, and I'm calling upon you all to make additional changes to the military equipment use policy to ensure the police department's compliance with AB 481. As it's currently written, it most likely does not comply with AB 481's minimum requirements, and I believe it's imperative to ensure AB 481 serves as the floor and not the ceiling for police transparency and accountability to the public. So before you vote on this policy, the Commission is calling upon the City Council to make the following 5 changes. add specific language to the general order requiring the police department to produce its annual report using comparative reporting and demographic reporting, which you can currently do tonight. In order for the commission to meaningfully measure the impacts of this policy and evaluate how the department uses military equipment so that it genuinely safeguards the public's welfare, safety, civil rights, and well-being, we need to know who it is used against, where it is used, and in what context the equipment is used. And since the department already compiles this information in its use of force reports, it makes only logical sense for it to be included and incorporated into the annual report. Second, there needs to be specific language that clearly states the specific situations where the department is not authorized to use military weapons or equipment. The lack of clear limitations for using military weapons and equipment is among the most serious concerns raised by community members, civil rights attorneys, and city council members, which arising from a documented racial bias and discriminatory outcomes in police department practices and procedures, confirmed by last year's Center for Policing Equity report that found that black residents and brown residents were subject to use of force at least 4.5 times more than white residents, twice the national average for 2014 and 2019.
Can you get to 3 through 5, Ken? I want to hear the rest of them.
I really appreciate that, Mayor.
Okay, please.
Given how alarmed City Council was last year when it saw video of Sacramento Police Department's potential misuses of military equipment against peaceful protesters during the George Floyd 2020 protests, allowing the inclusion of broad phrases such as
Excuse me, your time is up, so I'm going to invoke the privilege of the chair, and I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Could you please briefly give us items 3 through 5, okay, so that we have the full list? I'd appreciate it. Because your 2 minutes are up, but I want to hear 3 through 5. Briefly.
Very well. Number 3, we are calling for the policy to designate independent oversight authorities separate from the police department, such as the Office of Public Safety and Accountability, the Inspector General, and the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission. We are also calling for the creation of clear limits on the Sacramento Police Department's military equipment acquisitions by requiring all military equipment purchases, procurements, and acquisitions be approved by City Council separately from the department's annual reports or general order updates. And that includes specifically removing Section I that is currently in the draft and staff report, which creates an ambiguous lower limit which allows the department to order up to 10% of its stock annually without City Council approval, which is a direct violation of AB 481.
Number 5. Was that 5?
That was 5, and the number 4 was the adding specific language that clarifies that the department cannot cannot spend public or private funding without City Council approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Got it down. Yes, go ahead, Jay.
Keon, is this on behalf of the police commission or individual?
This is on behalf of the Police Review Commission. This is the same content.
It's in writing, and it's in writing. We've seen it. It's consistent with what the Police Commission wrote.
Yeah, we got the letter. Yeah.
We have the letter.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. It's going to be the 5 points, I think, are going to be the basis of our discussion, I hope, going forward here.
Megan White?
Hi. I was told that there's a way to like put a picture and it'll show.
Just sit it down on this mat.
On this gray thing?
Yep.
Okay, great. Face up. Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Megan. Thank you.
Go ahead.
My name is Megan White, and I'm here to share my experience with Sacramento Police Department. I'm 35 years old. I own a home and a brick and mortar business in District 4. I think it's unfortunate that I have to disclose this information as if those things would make my story more valid. But there is this false narrative that the only people that are hurt by Sac PD are lawless, which simply isn't true. The culture of brutality among the Sacramento Police Department must change. These are just some of the pictures of the bruises and marks that were left on me by Sac PD. I wasn't rioting, I wasn't looting or breaking the law, and our police department still felt that they needed to beat me so badly that I missed a whole week of work. And sadly, I'm one of the lucky ones. This is Nia Love. She lost her eye to a rubber bullet. This is Danny Garza. While a clearly marked active member of the National Lawyers Guild Observer, he was targeted.
You have them upside down.
Oh,
You
I'm
may
sorry.
want to turn them the other way, please. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. He was targeted and shot in the head with rubber bullets, and he's still suffering from brain damage today. The Sacramento Police Department's draft of the military use policy does not meet the requirements of AB 481. The city manager's office and police department refused to take any community requests for the coffee and cops conversations, causing them to be counterproductive and downright traumatic. My attack was completely dismissed by Chief Deputy Norm Leong. We were misled and blatantly lied to by Captain Marnie Steigertz, and then gaslit by Officer Todd Edgerton. Todd Edgerton, that's the officer who murdered Daryl Richards, an unarmed black man experiencing a mental health crisis. Sac PD thought that it was appropriate to bring him to a black community space to discuss the equipment that he used to kill one of our struggling family members.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
Sure. I also just wanted to say I'm sorry to be a little shook up here, but I wasn't expecting to be patted down and searched by Officer
Thank you for your comments.
Leach, who was.
Our next speaker is Courtney Poole and then Nikki Jones.
Hello, my name is Courtney Poole, and I am here as an advocate with Surge Sacramento, a social worker and a mental health professional, and a concerned resident of Sacramento who is urging you to oppose the military equipment use policy as it is written today. The policy, as it is written, is out of compliance with AB 481, which was created to protect our community from the harmful impact of military equipment. The police department has not shown that this equipment is necessary. They have not shown military equipment will safeguard public welfare, civil rights, and civil liberties. They have not shown that this equipment is cost effective, or they have tried alternatives, and they have not complied with its own military weapons in the past, policy in the past. There was no meaningful community engagement and feedback as the law states. In fact, as a participant of these meetings, it was an extremely disheartening and belittling experience, especially for those who have been harmed by this very equipment itself. The policy is not representative of the community feedback and voice that SAC PD received. Finally, I am disappointed and frankly angry that the thoughtful recommendations by SAC Police Review Commission were not acknowledged or included in the policy tonight. Please be responsible and make the ethical decision to reject this policy to allow for further discussion.
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker is Nikki Jones, then Celisa Campos, then Shelley Williams.
Yeah, hey, y'all. Obviously, it feels like the police department, particularly Norman Caffey here, forgot why 481 came into existence. I think you guys remember. There was a brutal murder of George Floyd. It inflamed the pain and rage of communities that have suffered oppression for generations, and people went to the streets with that pain and rage. The police escalated violence every single day, every step of the way, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Your officers escalated violence way before windows were ever broken. In fact, I would posit that their use of their military weapons is why windows were broken. People were hurt on top of trying to express their pain. So when you send the police, the very police, anyways, we could talk about protests sometime, but these, the weapons that they used on my body, on the body of people that I love, on the body of young people in Sacramento, so many young people in Sacramento. I don't know if y'all went out to those actions, but just so many young people, so many beautiful young people trying to express how they felt. And Sac PD came out with violence, and that is why we have the state law. And we need to find compliance, actual oversight, actual scrutiny. We need you to take this opportunity, responsibility, mandate from the state to use your actual oversight power to have scrutiny. Ask the hard questions. Get the use justifications, okay? We do not need more rubber stamps for a violent, racist police force who finds its legacies in slave patrols and union busting. We know that about them. We've been telling y'all that for years. Y'all don't have any excuses. We've been saying, we know, you know. And the choice is, are you gonna allow them to continue to use these weapons this way, or are you gonna make them change something since 2020? Nothing has changed.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete.
Absolutely. My final comment is, if nothing's changed since 2020, then what's the whole compliance?
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker is Salisa Campos. Following Salisa is Shelley
Excuse me.
Williams.
Order.
Who holds you to decorum?
That part.
Salisa?
Hi, yeah, my name's Salisa Campos, and I'm here as a resident of District 5. I'm a member of NorCal Resist in Sacramento, IWOC. I want to say I attended the one community meeting that I found out at the last minute, and I am definitely engaged, and many people did not know of these meetings that the police department said that they notified people of. They said that they put messages on their website, so if you're not actively following the police, you would not know. At this meeting, we were told multiple times, I forget her name, but she's the transparency person. She got up, apparently this was the third meeting, again, downplaying the wording of military equipment, and lied multiple times, said that they were not asking for more. Another thing that was concerning about the meeting, when the officers were asked what community they used them on, and who and why, they said they don't have that information. It is concerning that officers that are deploying weapons, chemicals, major things don't know where they are using these weapons. There was a woman in the meeting that I was in who officers had entered her home and mistakenly entered her home and deployed chemical weapons and left her house full of toxic chemicals. And apparently these weapons also can permeate the entire block of the communities that they don't know where they're using them. Also, in addition to that, the officer that killed Darrell Richards, who apparently has authority to decide when these weapons are used, said he does not know what is in the weapons or in the gases that he is deploying. And there was a lot of training mentioned. I find it worrisome that they were not trained on what they are using or why, or how to keep track of who they are using it on, or to be aware of those things. It is provable that mental health crises.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
Oh, yes, just 1 second. So sorry. That went by so quickly.
Thank you for your comments. Our next
Thank
speaker
you.
is Shelley Williams, and then Jamison Parker. Shelley Williams? I don't see Shelley. Jamison Parker. Following Jamison is Marshall Allwine.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Jamison Parker, calling on behalf of the Midtown Association. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak tonight. I'll be very brief. I'm just calling in to express our support for the ordinance before you. The Sac Police Department has developed this list of tools within the updated policy as measures to effectively and safely de-escalate situations without the use of more extreme measures. This updated policy ensures that the department has access to the tools necessary for them to adequately perform their duties. And further, with the passage of this ordinance, it ensures that the city's law enforcement officers have the latest technology, including those non-lethal and less lethal alternatives to which they already own. And finally, this policy will have regular touch points to be evaluated by the council with the annual review. We ask that you pass the ordinance that's before you this evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Marshall Arnwine, and then Diane Rosenblum.
Hello, my name is Marshall Arnwine, and I work for the ACLU of Northern California as our legal policy advocate. I'm calling to oppose the police department's policy as written and urge City Council to reject the proposal today. We acknowledge the police department's improvements in updating the policy, creating community listening sessions, and providing the public portal feedback option. This indicates change can be made. However, there are still more improvements to be made since the police department is not in compliance with AB 481. The law states that City Council can only approve a military equipment use policy if it determines that 4 specific requirements have been satisfied. The police department has not met any of the 4, which means it's not in compliance. One non-compliance example can be found in Government Code 7071, subsection D1A, which states that City Council must determine that military equipment is necessary because there's no reasonable alternative that can achieve the same objective of officer and civilian safety. The policy simply restates the legal requirement without providing any explanation for why the police department requires the weapons. Simply restating the law is insufficient. It does not comply with the law. Additionally, we also urge you to take seriously the Community Review Commission's recommendation. There has been a disturbing history of city government ignoring the Police Review Commission's recommendations. The recommendations are thoughtful, easily achievable, and will help strengthen SPD's reporting standards, clarify the funding process and how the military equipment is being used, and ensure meaningful transparency regarding the amount of equipment owned. City Council has the authority under the law to serve as a minimum foundation for transparency and accountability. The ACLU urges this council to reanalyze its policy when comparing it to AB 481, and you will see that it's not in compliance with the law. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Diane Rosenblum and then Liz Lorland Williams.
Thank you. We want our police to have a guardian mentality, not a warrior mentality. We need policies and procedures that recognize the danger implicit in the use of weaponry and provide thoughtful guidance in minimizing risk. First of all, the use report at the end of this document, meant to show the military equipment usage, does not list how and when and where the equipment was used as required. If Deputy Chief Leong can say them, you can write them in the report. The report is not complete yet. And also include deployment as well as usage, because the sight of military equipment can cause trauma in a neighborhood. There are reasons to put off approving this today. Errors and omissions mentioned already, and there are more, need to be fixed before approval. Again, there's much danger implicit in the use of weaponry among a civilian population, and every detail must be carefully considered. One thing that I object to is the inclusion of the phrase riot/crowd control for many of the items, especially projectiles and chemicals that can be shot into a crowd. Please remove this phrase from all items or change riot/crowd simply to riot. In light of Sacramento's history with projectile use during demonstrations and ongoing lawsuits, this is important to do properly. There are several places where the weapons policy refers to uses allowed by a city general order. Please take a really good look at this. The chief mentioned some of them, but very sloppily, the general orders still allow things that both she and Chief Leong mentioned that had been updated. It's still contradicted in the general order. So please fix it, and thank you for helping us achieve safety and justice for all.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Liz Lorland Williams, then PJ.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, and city staff. Liz Lorland Williams, calling in on behalf of the Downtown Sacramento Partnership and the 66 blocks we represent within the Central Social District of the Urban Core. The Sacramento Police Department has brought forward a thoughtful approach to identified tools to improve citizen and officer safety, providing an updated policy that leverages critical resources to safeguard the community and de-escalate potential volatile situations. Furthermore, the Sacramento Police Department continues to be committed to best practices by providing an annual review as part of the internal process and oversight. The Downtown Partnership is in support of the ordinance before you and urges the council to approve this item. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is PJ, then Charles and Allegra Taylor.
Yes, hi, PJ. I'm calling today to ask that you reject the proposal set forth by the police department with regards to their ability to harm minorities in the city if those minorities dare to get out of line. Community engagement is required by AB 481. It was not earnestly engaged in. Use of equipment is required to be outlined. Many instances cited are years or decades old. Transparency is required. Transparency isn't there. Their effort was paltry at best. The community engagement that was cobbled together after the community complained about this item being on the consent calendar and it not meeting the requirements of compliance with AB 481 should be enough to drop this. This item needs oversight, and no, you aren't a viable option as they would have you believe. You are not independent. Many of you receive their dollars from SPOA. This necessarily inhibits your ability to be independent as you work at their behest solely, especially when they can threaten your political career by painting you as anti-law and order if you dare to step out of line with compliance with their directives to you. The community needs actual oversight from the Police Review Commission, independent oversight from the communities most impacted by their bad behavior time and time again. And back to community and community engagement, what I heard and saw were thoughtful community members who objected to our police force being militarized, referencing studies that point to worse outcomes for police and citizens when police are militarized and start seeing themselves as the heroes, and citizens start seeing themselves as an occupying force that can be as dangerous to those they claim to want to protect as they are to criminals. They said they listened to community and modified language such as including but not limited to language, but then included a blanket qualifier earlier that says the same thing and covers all equipment. This is why we need an independent commission who can review what they say to ensure it matches with what they're doing, from people who know what they're doing. This is the peak of not being accountable, not wanting to be held accountable, and not expecting to be held accountable. And we don't need more of that, or we could be the next George Floyd, as we were with Stephon Clark, Daryl Richards, Joseph Mann, and with each new incident inciting more anger, more frustration, and more calls for radical change. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Charles and Allegra Taylor, then Graciela Castillo Krings, and I have 10 more speakers. Charles and Allegra Taylor.
This is Allegra Taylor, Village Advocates of Sacramento, and I'm standing in solidarity with DSA and with everyone that has spoke before me. It's very obvious that you have not listened to the same constituents that you will go and look for to get those votes when it's time for you to be reelected. Some of you are looking to be reelected in November. And so it is imperative that you hear what the people are saying. There are a list of things that you could spend that money on instead of militarized equipment. Let's try increase in salary for our teachers. How about hiring some more teachers? Let's try putting air conditioning in the school districts that don't have air, where the kids suffered during this heat spell. There are so many more things that you all can do with that money. Let's try homeless. Let's try getting some housing, affordable housing for those senior citizens that are losing their places to stay, those family members that are still homeless today. Why are you spending more money on militarized equipment? It is as though you know something that we don't know. Is there a war that you're going to be waging against your people? Is there something going on that we don't know? And it's evident based on the history of your use of the militarized equipment that you improperly use it and you don't follow your own laws. It is imperative that this city council, this mayor, review this material and do not vote in favor of it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Graciela Castillo Krings, then Casey Thompson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Graciela Castillo Krings. I am the chair of the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission. The commission has been following the development of the Military Equipment Use General Order for a few months. Throughout this process, we have made our comments known through various letters and have had many conversations with council members and the police department. But Mayor, as you just stated at the beginning of this item, additional work is needed. I second the comments made by Vice Chair Bliss. My hope is that the council will direct the commission to work with the Sacramento Police Department and develop a public process that allows the community to be engaged and have a real say in how this policy is shaped. In addition, the expectation should be that future annual reports that come to the council contain information about when, where, and why this equipment is being used. Only with this information can the council truly evaluate if the MEU policy safeguards the public welfare, safety, civil rights, and civil liberties as required by AB 481. Mr. Mayor, your comments at the beginning of this meeting and those of Chief Lester make me cautiously optimistic. We have an opportunity to show our community that this council, the police department, and the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission not only can work together, but we can work together on developing policies that can protect every resident of the city. I urge you to please consider the recommendations that were put forth by the commission. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Casey Thompson, then Sarah Rewich.
Yes, hello, hi. My name is Casey Thompson, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of SEIU Local 1021. And our union is calling on the City Council to oppose SAC PD's policy as written and urges the council to reject the proposal today. The police department is not in compliance with AB 481. Now, they have made improvements in updating the policy, creating community listening sessions, and providing the public portal feedback options, which to us indicates that change can be made. However, we still need to make more improvements before we can consider this policy in compliance with AB 481. It does not meet the full requirements of AB 481. Specifically, the police department has not shown that the military equipment is necessary. It has not shown that the military equipment will safeguard the public's welfare, civil rights, or civil liberties. The proposed military equipment use policy under AB 41 will safeguard the public's welfare, safety, civil rights, and civil liberty. But as SAC residents and victims of police violence have repeatedly declared, they feel less safe with the presence of heavily armed law enforcement. Studies also confirm that police officers' possession of military weapons escalates situations rather than mitigate harm. And we saw this, of course, in 2020 during the George Floyd protests, as many have already pointed out. In addition, they don't meet requirement 3. It's not shown that the military equipment is cost effective or that they have tried available alternatives, and nor has the department met requirement 4. They have not shown that they have complied with their own military weapons policy in the past. We are urging the council to take seriously the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission's cautions and recommendations. There are only benefits to including the commission's recommendations, and it is disturbing to hear again that the commission's recommendations may be ignored. The commission's recommendations are thoughtful, easily achievable, and will strengthen SPD reporting standards. So, we urge you now to ask yourself the hard questions about SAC PD policies when comparing it to AB 481.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
My final comment is to please listen to the community feedback that you've heard tonight from everybody, save about a minute and a half of people.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Sarah Rewich, then Dave Kempa.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So thank you for taking the comments and taking the time to review this policy. I'm calling to oppose the Sac Police Department's policy as written, and I urge the council to reject it today. The previous speakers have done a really good job of detailing the specific ways in which the police department is not in compliance with the law, and they've also reminded us why that law exists in the first place. And if it's not clear to the council by now, after listening to the public comment, that the police department has not met the requirements in AB 481, then I'm afraid the council wasn't listening carefully enough. And because it's not in compliance, you must reject it. I'd like to address the requirement number 2 specifically, which states that the proposed military equipment use policy will safeguard the public's welfare, safety, civil rights, and civil liberties. The police department has not proven that they comply with this. Many Sacramento residents and victims of police violence have repeatedly declared that we feel actually less safe with the presence of heavily armed law enforcement. And I won't go into all of that, but I will mention a story that happened during the George Floyd protests of 2020. I know about these serious injuries that were caused against the citizenry coming out against, coming out peacefully against police brutality. And I know these serious injuries firsthand. I washed the blood out of my friend's clothes after she was shot in the back of the head with so-called less lethal rounds that required her to have her head stapled shut at the ER to stop the bleeding. And she still has brain damage from that, by the way. And all of that, again, for peacefully protesting police violence. I think it's despicable that we allowed the SACPD to do this to so many peaceful protesters. It wasn't crowd control. It was a battle against the citizens by a militarized police, as
Thank
well
you
as
for your comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
Yes, we should all be terrified by this unbridled.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Dave Kempa, then Flo Kofer.
Hi there. I'm Dave Kempa, a concerned citizen. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. One thing I'd just like to comment on, because I think everybody has just been profound tonight, is the fact that SACPD continues to use passive language as they discuss this. And that to me is incredibly scary. And it's something that my friends in the media should remember. You know, when Norm talks about introducing pepper bullets, into a vehicle, ask yourself what that actually means, right? When Norm attacked Mac with a bicycle, would he call that her just being introduced to a bicycle? I don't think so. So we really need to think about the language they're using, and we really need to think about the city council that is voting yes or no on this. I don't have too much more to say, but just if you do vote for this, just know that you're voting for an increased class war effectively. You're voting for a state to fight against its own people. We've saw it do this since 2018, since Stephon Clark all the way through George Floyd, and it continues to get worse, right? So you need to consider what you're doing when you allow the police force to get stronger and stronger, and what's going to happen if you continue to fight against your own constituents. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Flo Kofer, then Ryan McClinton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Flo Kofer, and I'm trying not to become cynical as I age, but I've been living here long enough to feel pretty confident that this ordinance is going to be approved tonight, probably without the very thoughtful amendments that I anticipate coming from someone on the dais. This body has never really said no to the Sacramento Police Department, and unfortunately, I don't anticipate breaking new ground tonight. So I'm here to join my neighbors in saying that this is a bad idea. I'm doing so that future generations, when they feel weary and downtrodden as I do right now, will remember that we stood up against things that horrify us in the future. Horrify us like when we decided that balancing slave and free states was a good idea before the Civil War, or even more recently when we thought don't ask, don't tell was a reasonable compromise. So I'd like to lift up some of the other recommendations that came out tonight, especially the idea that we are not in compliance with AB 481, that the police department hasn't shown that this is necessary, that they haven't shown that this will safeguard our welfare and our safety, which should be priority number one. But unfortunately, I'm not sure that the department actually has any clear and consistent priorities that they can draw back on to be able to guide their efforts. That they have not shown that this is cost effective or that they've tried alternatives, and that the department hasn't shown that it's complied with its own policies. And so that certainly scares me. But what concerns me even more than that is that you have people who you've deputized to be able to advise you and have consistently sidetracked and sidelined them in their work. And so once again, we're here tonight to say, why have a police commission if we're not going to listen to them and respect the things that they have to offer? You know, I think there are a lot of things that are in short supply, but apparently the police department is not short on audacity, because coming with this, given how unprepared they are to actually comply with state law, is really shocking and unfortunate. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I have 5 more speakers. The next is Ryan McClinton, then John Ruffner.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Ryan McClinton, lifetime resident of Sacramento, and also program manager with Public Health Advocates. I'm calling tonight, really thankful that so many of our community members have continued to lift their voices, stand in a vulnerable place of naming the challenges that exist with this policy and so many other policies that we've seen historically carried out by our city council and by our officials at this point. I'm taking a deep breath because once again, I'm sitting in a council meeting giving comment where I see an immense amount of trauma that our communities experience from how this conversation has been carried out and also the policies that follow it. We've fought tooth and nail to have community representative voices that are entrusted not only by the residents that you've heard from tonight, but by many of you on the dais tonight to represent our voices in oversight and accountability to the police department. While there's been some type of attempts around following through on this policy that we do not agree with and that needs to be rejected tonight, we still have yet to actually follow the recommendations of this council that's been put in place for years now. It's highly concerning to me that this body, this oversight committee has lifted up, I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 recommendations that have still not been processed through the agenda, yet this ordinance, this amendment lifted up by SACPD is being heard immediately, and that there was possibly pushed through on the expediency that we have not seen from community concerns that have been lifted up. I urge you, Council, to follow the recommendations lifted by our co-chairs tonight from the Oversight Committee, and to also consider what are we not hearing from our community that leads to this type of conversation having to be held with so much trauma and tension held within it. Your residents are hurting, crying, and screaming for you to do something different. Please listen and take action on our voices that you're hearing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is John Ruffner, then Michael Snell. John Ruffner, if you'll unmute. We'll go on to Michael Snell. Following Michael is Tiffany Nicole Moyer.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Mike Snell. I'm a veteran, also a core cannabis member, opening the first Black-owned storefront in D6. Woo woo. I just want to tap in real quick. As a veteran, let's look at the facts here, people. Militarization of police department for public safety will result in the same success rate as the military efforts, including myself, in Iraq and Afghanistan. And what are the success rate? And I'm just asking that question for you guys to just take a look at that. The money, the lives lost, the trauma, and that's what this will expedite. That's what this policy will expedite and ensure we'll have in our communities. The only people that are pushing this are the same people that are on the news attacking Councilmember Katie Valenzuela, the same people that are. I'm sorry. I'm getting some feedback. The same people that live in affluent neighborhoods that aren't heavily patrolled by police, but they want to see this enforcement be enforced on the less affluent communities, and that's not right. These are people that come from, I want to say, the 2016, 2018 MAGA extreme far right subculture. And mind you, I'm NPP. I don't affiliate with any political party, but of course, I see the extremism and what it's done, and we would be absolutely arrogant to believe that that same mentality is not portrayed by any of the members that carry that badge and weapon. And I do not feel safe in my own community, which is why I'm taking it upon myself to rally with those that are opposing up against this. Again, I do not support this policy, and I would urge that the council will look for, let's double down on implicit bias training for our police, other forms of safety procedures versus militarization and the expense of the safety of our community members. I don't approve of this.
Thank you for your comments. John Ruffner, if you'll unmute.
Hi, thank you. I have a little bit different perspective than all of the other awesome perspectives I've heard so far. I drive a work truck full of tools. It's everything I own. It's my whole life. And I don't know a single person who's had their truck broken into or their tools stolen who has felt like SAC PD was interested or even engaged in attempting to protect our livelihoods. We see this propaganda about attacking unhoused people to protect against crime, but the crime that we experience when we report it is met with just literally laughter sometimes. So the idea that more of my taxes as a business owner would go towards terrorizing fellow citizens with the symbols of military occupation that in a best case scenario don't get used on us, and in a worst case scenario are used to attack my neighbors, nobody has shown a nexus to how that's going to keep my tools safe. I haven't heard a single person say how that's going to keep the women in my life who have all been assaulted safe. I haven't heard how it's going to keep kids safe. It's just preposterous to continue to expect me to pay a significant portion of every dollar I earn to be told that the crimes that happen to people like me are not prioritized while they buy these toys to terrorize me and my neighbors. It's absolutely insulting to working people and to business owners, and I don't need the rest of my time. That's my point.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Tiffany Nicole Moyer, then Ellen Swartz will be our final speaker.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Nicole Moyer. I'm calling as a resident of the city of Sacramento in District 2. I'm also an attorney with Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights, and I'm urging you to reject the police department's proposal tonight. It does not comply with the law. Under the law, it is the city council who is the body responsible for making sure that alternatives to these weapons are considered before being approved tonight. And the police department has told the council that no alternatives exist. But of course, alternatives exist. It just doesn't benefit the police department to acknowledge them. Most of the time, using these weapons and equipment escalate the risk of violence rather than reduce it. By every community member account that I have ever heard, with the presence of the police with these weapons and equipment, the circumstances become exponentially more dangerous. The only stakeholder who says that these equipments and weapons reduce the risk of violence is the police itself. And we really ask City Council to use your discernment here tonight. Because the police department has made the brazen assertion that there are no available alternatives, they've made it really difficult for the City Council to do its job tonight. And I don't envy your position as a result. But without viable alternatives identified by your law enforcement agency, it's impossible to do a cost-effect analysis with integrity, which is what the law requires. Other speakers have identified some of the really horrific physical impacts that these weapons have had on community members who are acting peacefully, lawfully, and with concern for their fellow community members. But I ask you to also consider the psychological warfare that militarized police have created in the communities that you represent. This isn't an easy task for you tonight, I understand, but it will have rippling effects for years to come. Like one commenter asked, what are you preparing for? War with your residents? And finally, much of the police department's presentation about how engaged with the community was misleading, to put it mildly. The police were palpably disinterested in the community's perspective. They lied about the law. They failed to answer basic questions like, what have you done to address past harms? As a resident, it was really embarrassing to watch. And as someone who is impacted by police violence, it was just triggering.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Ellen Schwartz, and Ellen is our final speaker on this item.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Ellen Schwartz. I'm a resident of Rosemont in unincorporated Sacramento, but I'm speaking today on behalf of the Sacramento branch of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. We agree with those organizations who commented earlier, and we urge the council to reject this proposal and to make the changes necessary to bring it in line with the intent of AB 481. The proposal to approve this plan says, quote, there is a significant interest in ensuring law enforcement continues to have access to equipment that will provide peace officers as many options as possible to safeguard lives, ensure safety, and protect civil liberties. And that's the end of the quote. These tools are in fact weapons, which in practice maim, blind, deafen, and poison people, disproportionately those who are BIPOC or mentally ill or different in any other way. The more weapons that are deployed, the less safe lives are, the more civil liberties are endangered. The Sacramento PD does not have a good history, despite their glowing self-report, and they do not need as many options as possible. They need to be controlled. Please, members of the City Council, I urge you to reject the proposed military equipment usage policy and revise it with greater provisions for independent oversight and explicit restrictions on how the equipment is used. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay, thank you very much to the members of the public. That was thorough and it was very, very important. I'm going to call on my colleagues, but I want to make a suggestion here, and my colleagues can then comment on that, or of course make your own suggestions for how we might bring this together here tonight. When there is a motion to approve the ordinance, which I believe there will be, I would suggest an accompanying verbal resolution like we did with the sidewalk ordinance. Remember, we did that several weeks ago. That includes the following. And the basis of this resolution, this suggestion, is the opportunity here for the police commission to work affirmatively with the police department, with the community, and with the city council to ensure that there is more robust oversight over these issues going forward. And so here's what I would suggest be part of that resolution. Number one, that there be language that specifically states that the police department's annual report on the equipment include, as Mr. Bliss said, and I'm paraphrasing, specific demographic reporting. Who, when, where, over the course of the reporting period, is this equipment being used, broken down by zip code, broken down by race and ethnicity, because these are issues that have been appropriately raised this evening and over the months and the years by the community. Excuse me, the resolution should include the city manager and the police chief coming back with whatever budget authority is necessary to be able to actually do that detailed demographic work, because we do not want the budget to stand in the way here of making sure that there is full transparency when it comes to this annual report. Number two, a resolution should direct the police department and the commission to develop a process consistent with the commission's letter for full community engagement, and to come back to the city council within 120 days with those sets of recommendations, with the following being the parameters. And this is in our city charter, and so it's consistent with our charter. OPSA to review individual cases. Public disclosure, where public disclosure is allowed by law in terms of the conclusions. The commission to review the annual demographic data and the annual report and trends, and to report on any thing that the commission believes and the community believes needs to be changed. This work between the commission and the police department over the next 120 days should include a discussion of criteria for when it is appropriate for the police department to not use the equipment. I think there needs to be more discussion around those issues. In addition, the discussion, when we approve tonight's ordinance, the discussion should be going forward, what should be the line drawn for when the police department needs to come to the full city council for approval of purchase of any of this equipment, because that's still of a concern. And I think that deserves greater discussion between the commission, the community, and the police department. So that encompasses a lot of the commission's letter, but leaves some of the conclusions to this 90 to 120 day discussion and process between the police department and the commission. The one very clear thing that I think we ought to insist upon tonight is that the annual report have the kind of specific demographic data that the commission has asked for. Because you're right, it's not just how many times any of this equipment has been used, it's where it's been used, how it's been used. And I think with the right kind of budget support, that the police department can do that and is willing to do that. So that is my recommendation in terms of what you might add to as a resolution to the ordinance here tonight. Councilmember Harris?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we heard a lot of testimony tonight. I don't think we heard both sides of an issue. You know, everybody creates narratives around their personal experience, and I do as well. I'd like to say that I'm not a young person. I've lived almost 7 decades. In that time, I've participated in demonstrations, noticeably when I was 14 in an anti-Vietnam War demonstration in which I saw tremendous police brutality. I saw pregnant women being clubbed. I saw a lot of people shed blood. It was a very difficult time, the Vietnam War era. There were many demonstrations throughout the country. It was a period of great stress. So I grew up in LA where police brutality was more the norm than not. And I got to see it firsthand. Many years have gone by, and I've seen many other situations, some in other countries as well, where tactics were used that I certainly didn't approve of and I thought were counterproductive. When it comes to Sacramento, during demonstrations around Stephon Clark, I would like the public to know that I was out on the streets during several of those demonstrations. And there was one around Stephon Clark where I felt that the police made a call that was not the most productive, that led to unnecessary arrests. And we've dealt with the aftermath of that with lawsuits and everything else, as was appropriate. On the other hand, during the Stephon Clark demonstrations, there is no doubt that some people were injured by projectiles. And Chief Lester, can you come up to the podium? I do have a couple questions for you. I'm not going to make this real long, Mayor.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, thank you. Chief Lester, did our police force use rubber bullets during the demonstrations?
We don't have rubber bullets, Councilmember.
So can you say that a little louder?
We do not have rubber bullets, but to be clear, we do have other forms of less lethal that people often assume are rubber bullets, but we do not have rubber bullets in our stock.
Well, I appreciate you clarifying. Excuse me.
Excuse me, Councilmember Harris. There's not going to be any shouting from the dais. We're going to maintain a civil discourse here in the chambers. Everyone's had the opportunity to talk. We all listened intently, and now it's the council's turn to deliberate. Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, thank you. Just to continue my narrative, and Kathy, if you'll stay there for a second, I have one more question. When I participated in these demonstrations here in Sacramento, I wasn't on the police side of the line. I was in the public side, so I was the recipient of a little bit of tear gas. But I have to tell you this, I did go around to several parts of the city, and the part of the story that's not being told tonight is the fact that police officers were assaulted to a pretty high degree all throughout the city. I saw many projectiles being thrown at police. I saw a police officer hit in the throat with a brick. When you're in an intense situation like that, there's calls by public safety to keep the peace. Look, if you look around the country and you look at how Sacramento fared during those demonstrations, we did better than most of the other cities in the country. This city did not burn down. We did not have massive injuries, and we didn't have deaths. The police in those kinds of tense situations are up against it. They have to make very quick decisions. And personally, this is my personal opinion, I feel that our police department acted with tremendous reserve, and overall, they made decisions that saved our city from great harm. So I get it. You don't agree with me. That's okay. I don't agree with you either. But that's the nature of being in America. We have free speech, and we are allowed to disagree with each other, which is a wonderful thing. Chief, is there anything in this ordinance that you've presented that does not comply with AB 481?
I'll answer the question. I feel like we're fully in compliance with AB 41, and you have to understand also that the policy has to go through the city attorney's office, and we've worked very closely with the city attorney's office, not just on this version of the military equipment use policy, but on the original version when the law first came into effect, and we presented in December.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Those are all my questions for you, Chief.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to accept the staff recommendation as written. As regards your resolution, you actually brought out a lot of information. I personally would like to have a little more time with it to get comfortable with it, but I would say this, right out of the gate, I agree with you about metrics, about when these less lethal weaponry items are used. And it never hurts to capture information about who it's used against. Their race and ethnicity is a point that is worth capturing. And I agree with that. Because when we have clear metrics, we can have a clear conversation instead of people's perceptions, which sometimes are right and sometimes are wrong. So I agree with that piece of it. There was a policy piece in there that I'm not sure I do. So my request to you would be to bring this resolution back. So, to have it published, because it's pretty substantive. Again, I think I agree with most of it, if not all of it, but I didn't capture it just from your quick reading. I don't have a copy in front of me,
No
so
problem.
I can't digest it.
I know. I'm trying to, you listen to the public testimony and you try to bring it together. Maybe Chief Lester will help out here. So, Chief Lester, what I suggested as the accompanying resolution is that the police department be required, with resources and budget augmentation, to include in their annual report the specific demographic reporting as I laid out earlier. And then secondly, I requested that you and the commission, the department and the commission, over the next 90 to 120 days, meet to develop a process for full community engagement. And I described some of the elements that I want you to discuss, namely the criteria for when it is not appropriate, as the commission has asked for, when it is not appropriate to use any of the items listed in the report. And secondly, to discuss, negotiate, work together on where the line should be drawn as to under what circumstances must you come back to the city council. This is post-ordinance here. This is post-ordinance. So really it was all process, if you will, with one item of substance, namely the specifics of an annual report, which I think is really core to what the commission has asked. And I do think that if that's added to the ordinance tonight, it will chart a positive course going forward, even if there's some disagreement about the underlying ordinance itself. So Chief Lester, I know you've worked constructively with the leadership of the commission. As I laid this out here now twice, sorry about that, in the last 10 minutes, but to clarify, is this something that you can live with?
Thank you. It's a lot. No, I appreciate you repeating it, actually. One, I really support the demographic data, the use data, the location data. And I had a good conversation with the chair of the commission about doing that. Again, it just really comes down to staff support. So if I'm allowed to take it back and talk to our city management team about how we could do that.
I added the budget augmentation, not knowing what the amount is, but that would be the intent. So that would be included in the resolution that I suggest.
Perfect. In the meantime, I just want to make sure that council's okay with this. When I talked to the head of the commission about this, what we can do now is at least link information that we currently produce to the annual report so that at least the reader has that.
For now.
For now.
For now. No, that's interim, but what we're trying to do is set the course for the next annual report and maybe interim reports if we can get you the budget augmentation to report back as soon as practicable, as soon as possible, on the demographic data that the community rightfully wants to see.
Yeah, I'm fully in support of that. When it comes to developing a process for community engagement, clearly, we've heard from the community that the process that we put in place wasn't great for a lot of people. And so I think having the commission help with that and really lead that, I would love to work with them. That's definitely within their purview to solicit community input on these matters and then make recommendations. And so had also discussed that with commission, would like to move forward on that piece of it. Just to clarify, if I could, there is our vice chair had mentioned, there is a line in our policy about approval and purchase of equipment. And so the recommendation right now in the policy, and this is in conjunction with recommendation with the city attorney,
10%.
would be 10% in case of an emergency.
Okay, and here's what I'm asking. I'm suggesting we approve that tonight, but that be the subject of your deliberations with the commission now going forward, so that if it's appropriate to change that threshold, that can be that can be discussed.
Perfect. I just want to make sure I understood that piece
No,
of it. Thank you,
that's
Mayor.
what it is. So that's, Councilmember Harris, what it is I'm suggesting, because and 120 days, so that there's a time limit, so that the commission knows there's going to be timely engagement here, and you come back, and if there are disagreements, then we can frame the disagreements. Hopefully they'll be slight, and then we can make progress together. Councilmember Harris.
It sounds like, Chief Lester, you're in agreement with most of that because it's around communication and metrics gathering. Do you think the time frame is reasonable? Can you work with that?
That's actually a really excellent question, because the commission is wrapping up their year-end ad hoc recommendations. And so that's probably a good question to pose to the police commission and just confirm that works. We may need another month or two as we move forward. So if there's some flexibility.
We don't exactly enforce time limits around here, but it's
Well,
120
Mayor,
days.
How about 120 to 180? Give it a little wiggle room.
Okay.
It would be, the good part about that is it would be in conjunction with, as we revise this policy and bring it back, it would be right about that same time. So I would like to move forward on those items prior to bringing it forward to Law and Ledge next year.
Okay, Jen.
So, Mayor, I've moved the ordinance as written, the staff recommendation. I can accept your resolution as an add-on to it. The chief apparently can as well. I don't see that there's anything bad about it, so.
Okay.
Yes, but let me, one more comment.
Yeah.
The less lethal weaponry that this council adopted has netted results for our city. It has saved lives, and it has saved officers' lives as well, as has the armored vehicle, the Bearcat, that we approved, similar to the one that was used to try to save Tara O'Sullivan. Our unmanned aerial systems have been extremely effective tools in diffusing very difficult situations that probably would have led to gunplay and didn't. These are useful tools, and while they're characterized as military equipment, I think it's really a misnomer. Look, the police carry guns, right? Guns are lethal weapons. They have rifles. They have a lot of very lethal equipment. The fact that we want to encourage them to use less lethal weaponry is actually a good thing, and I know with certainty that it has already saved lives in the city of Sacramento.
Okay.
So I thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rivers. Councilmember Vang, Councilmember Chenier, and Councilmember Valenzuela. Councilmember.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I wanted to take this opportunity to just thank all the speakers today, those who spoke during public comment and those who also called in virtually. I know that it took a lot of courage to come up here and to speak your truth and also to share your stories with the public and the council, and so I want to say thank you. I also want to thank Chief Lester and Chief Leong for your work in bringing this important ordinance to council for consideration. I do have some comments and also questions for Chief and our city attorney as well. As many of you heard from the public, and as I understand, the intent of this bill was really for us as a council locally to really address some of the long-standing public concerns and mistrust that's been happening in this public sphere and in our community. And many concerns about how military equipment is acquired, how it's funded, and how it's currently being used in our local police departments, not just in the city of Sacramento, but across the state. And I believe that this ordinance, that the state policy actually gives us an opportunity to really rebuild that community trust. Equipment that's acquired by a police department, the approaches we use should reflect the reality on the ground. And I think what I've heard from community members is that currently it does not reflect the reality on the ground, one that protects the safety and civil rights of all of our communities. Mayor, as you stated earlier, this policy is about setting a roadmap. This is about transparency, accountability, and building trust. And there were 5 recommendations that our community police commission sent us. And 2 of them that I just want to uplift and appreciate, Mayor, that you have made your amendment resolution to Councilmember Harris. But do want just to share my thoughts and maybe a counter motion of why, on my position on why I think we should be taking a different approach as council. But 2 of the recommendations, if we can adopt all 5, that would be great. But 2 of them that I do want to uplift is, 1, making sure that we add specific languages around demographics and comparative reporting. I think that's really key. We talk a lot about metrics, and I think that we as a city, as a department, have to make sure we hold ourselves accountable. And the other one is really to move any language that would allow PD to order or purchase military equipment, even if it's up to 10%. So I just wanted to share that. I do have 2 questions, one for Chief and one for legal. The first question, Chief, is for you. Have you had an opportunity to communicate or respond to our Community Police Review Commission on their recommendation?
We actually have, and I have Lieutenant Greg Galliano with me. Are you talking about recommendations specific to this ordinance or the overall recommendations?
That is correct. The letter that was submitted, they have provided the 5 recommendation. Have you had a chance to respond to those recommendations?
I did. I actually had a meeting with the chair on Tuesday, and we went through each of them and tried to figure out how we could move forward and what we could do, because I'm obviously in agreement with some of them. Like, number one, I just need staff to do that. And I think the mayor has recommended some good solutions as well. So we did go through that. And in addition to that conversation, Lieutenant Galliano has been working with the chair extensively. And there were a number of recommendations that happened informally, as we often do through this process, that he can go over and talk about what they recommended and what we actually included in the policy. It goes to a larger question. If you go back to the auditor's report, that the auditor proposed that we actually have a formal form that the commission would make a recommendation on, we would respond to, and then we could publish that on our website, on the city's website, to show the public the work that we're actually doing. And so that's an additional item that we are working on, so that for items like this, that we can show very easily which recommendations we've adopted and move forward on. So the 5 that you see before you are really like the last 5 so if I can turn it over to Lieutenant Galliano, if that's the level of detail
Yeah, no,
that you would
I
like.
think that's good. I'm just trying to understand, because there are 5 more recommendations, and want to know, was that lost in translation? Why the 5 recommendation that they recommended was not implemented in the current policy, in the current ordinance? So I just wanted to have a better understanding of
Oh,
that.
that's a different question. So like with number 1, with the demographic question, I'm in support of it. It really comes down to a staffing issue.
Okay.
And I would love to be able to do this and expand on the data. And then when it comes to limitations and conditions, when the military equipment can and cannot be used, the commission is asserting that, hey, it shouldn't just be when you can use it, but when is it unauthorized? And I believe that we have that outlined in a number of our other policies, but I'd like the opportunity to sit down with the commission and go through these side policies to see if that's sufficient or if we need to change the language somehow. So I'm not against it. I'm just not sure that I agree with the interpretation. When it comes to the oversight authority, what I had talked to the chair about doing was really, it was about a couple of things here, but one of the big outcomes from that recommendation was to get the commission's help in seeking community input, and maybe even pulling the police department out of that process, where they can actually seek input that's clearly within their purview and with what they were designed to do. And then you do have oversight with OPSA and the Inspector General. I need to somehow clarify that, or OPSA can clarify the broad authority that they have for oversight of significant uses of force, officer-involved shootings, et cetera. So I think that's probably worthy of a discussion as well. The last item was the one that really we had looked at potentially in an emergency seeking approval to purchase 10% above and beyond our current stock of equipment. I would obviously have to justify what that emergency was. And so 4 and 5 are kind of tied together here, and that might be more of a legal question for our city attorneys, where it says adding specific language that we have to seek city council approval before any public or private funding request may be spent. That is the law. That's why we're actually here in front of you today. So that is this process. But in regards to the 10% overage, it is included in the current policy. Because it had come up with the commission, I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that clause, and that wasn't in fact the intent of the commission. Or I'm sorry, the council. Long day.
All right, we've clarified this a couple of times now. The main thing that I want to focus on, though, because I think it provides a better pathway here, is that should be a subject of negotiation going forward, or at least discussion with the commission.
I agree.
Because they've expressed their input. So what I'm saying is I'm willing to give you that authority now, because, but that my motion says that should be one of the items that you discuss with the commission, because there might be a better way, there might be a better reporting mechanism for how to deal with emergencies, or a better system. Maybe it's they get notified concurrently with the city council. Maybe they have the right to object after the fact. I mean, there are lots of ways we could you could do that. I just want that to be an item of discussion going forward, please.
Thank you, Mayor.
So that's the finesse here.
Okay,
Trying.
thanks, Chief. I appreciate you responding to that question, and it sounds like there's a lot of work that still needs to be done with our Community Police Commission. I do have a question for Susanna. Is there a timeline and urgency to approve this ordinance tonight so that we're in alignment with the state?
The timeline to approve this is September 21st of 2022. That's the last day.
Okay.
So there is a certain amount of urgency now.
Okay, okay. Okay. So Mayor, I do want to share, at the end of the day, this is truly about public trust, and it's also us fostering that public trust. I think it's really important that we work closely with our Community Police Commission, who all of us have appointed to help provide direction. I do want to share my concern about the motion that's on the table. Councilmember Harris, what I'm concerned about is that if we approve the ordinance as is and then work on it later, I'm afraid we might be setting ourselves up for failure. And Mayor, I actually do appreciate your amendments on the table, but I strongly believe that we should actually take your direction without approving the ordinance as it stands, because I really want to make sure that we actually have a collaborative effort on the ordinance. And so I like to provide a counter motion to pretty much direct SAC PD to work with the Community Police Review Commission directly to strengthen the current ordinance, pretty much your amendments, but without approving the current ordinance as it stands.
Okay, so that's a good framing in terms of what the choices are. So that's that's a substitute motion. Very good. Councilmember Chenier, we'll wait to see if there's a second. Councilmember Chenier.
Thank you, Mayor. Just have kind of 2 points and then one request, I think. One is, I think, pretty straightforward. On the community engagement part, I actually don't think it should be you or the police commission that's putting it together. It's not an easy thing. Sometimes we do it well, sometimes we don't do it well at all. And I would ask if the mayor can include in his budget augmentation when we get there that we hire a third party that's completely neutral on this. Also because the police commission, if they're trying to facilitate, they're not engaging in the conversation, or they shouldn't be if they're trying to facilitate. So my first request would be that we go out formally on the community engagement. Maybe that's only for year one and we get it after that, but that we have a neutral third party do the facilitation and help set that up. That's one thing. The other thing, and I'm just a little bit, whatever, on the 10%. Describe to me an emergency situation that would require that.
It would be really unusual, I would think. The only time really that I can remember doing it was when we had a really significant event, such as the demonstrations during the summer of 2020, where we had to, because it's not just purchasing, it's acquiring. So if we went to another agency and borrowed something, if we had something happened in our property warehouse and we lost supplies for some reason we had to acquire. But it doesn't happen that often. I can't say that it's never going to happen, but it's just such an unusual thing. It's just kind of a just in case clause.
I mean, this is not a hill I'm dying on, but it seems to me, this council meets, I'm guessing 70 times a year. And we have lots of emergency meetings when things are going bad, which is maybe the case where you need the emergency. So frankly, I don't see where we need this. If there's something that's urgent that you got to go, this council can always put it together to get a meeting together. So I'm just going to put that out as you're negotiating it. It doesn't make sense to me why the circumstance where you would actually need that 10%, I just don't see it. There's always the opportunity to bring the council together in an emergency.
I'm going to call Norm up. He's been working on this, so maybe he has a couple of comments to add to that.
The only thing I would recommend, if we're going to add that language, keep the 10% in the ordinance, but require us to come back before council for that approval, because otherwise, potentially, and maybe Susanna could better articulate this, we may have to come back for the whole ordinance, and it's taken 6 months to come before council.
Okay, so wait, there's a good middle ground here that you've just finished. Yeah, but go finish this point.
So if you keep the 10% but need council approval, it's pre-approval before you go out and purchase. I think that kind of puts that issue down, because then it becomes the council responsibility and council accountability versus you all. Protects you, does the right thing for us.
That was very good. So Councilmember Harris, if the police department is okay with council approval of the 10%, so long as we don't have to go back and and approve the entire ordinance, why don't you add that to your motion? Because that's another way that we're coming a little bit closer together with some of the critics, because.
So I would request that be a friendly amendment.
Foresee a situation where that would put you in a time squeeze and make it not plausible for you to get what you needed quick enough?
I don't foresee that at this time. I think that that's a reasonable option. So I think we can definitely live
If
with
it's
that.
that big of an emergency, the
So
council.
Jay, I can accept that in the motion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second on Jeff's motion?
I'll go ahead and second it.
Okay,
And I'll accept my amendment.
Safety amendment, that's good. So
Are
that's
you
it.
sure about that, Jay?
So for the commission here, just, I hope you heard that, the 10% now, everything has to be approved by the city council. Councilmember Vang, it has to be approved by the city council, right? So that's a change.
So the other question I would have is if our chair of the police commission is still on the phone. Yeah,
You still in the meeting? I don't know.
she's still in the meeting. Could we get her, I'd love to hear what she thinks of where we are at this point, since she is chair.
Graciela, are you on the, Madam Chair, are you on the
Mr.
Zoom still?
Mr. Mayor, yes, I am on the screen.
Go ahead, please.
I think it's important for us to look, like I said earlier in my comments, I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic. I think it is important, and I am very grateful that the council is taking the letter very seriously. I think some of these changes are really important, and I look forward. I have been working with Chief Lester for as many years as I have been in the commission, and I do believe that we can work collaboratively together. But I also think it's important that it's just not me as the chair speaking for the commission, that whatever work product is done is taken back to the rest of my colleagues so that we as a body can adopt them.
Of course.
Absolutely, but we're all trying to represent who we represent and move the ball forward. So Chief Lester, I just want to provide some accolades for you, for Norm, for the people on your staff that have been working with us. It's a different atmosphere than I've witnessed in a long time as far as the ability to collaborate, work together, and be open to the ideas. Whether we agree or not on a lot of these things, I think is important, but more important is that we're having the discussion and that you are open to it. So I want to say thank you for that, and those are my comments.
Thank you. Got a
Very
great
good.
team.
Thank
Sure.
you. Okay, so thank you, Councilmember Schneider, because you resolved one of the thorny issues here in a positive way. So that's very good. Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I want to recognize first the public commenters, which I know some of my colleague, Councilmember Vang, did as well, especially those that have been directly impacted by the use of this equipment. I want to recognize how hard this must be for you and just thank you for your engagement throughout this process. I've seen you consistently show up at Lawn Ledge, at community meetings, and I just really want to thank you for your engagement and something that must not be, and I assume is not easy for you. So I want to start by talking about process and just begin by reminding us all that the Police Commission already offered to work with PD on outreach for this policy. Instead of opting for this casual cups and coffee style that really isn't conducive to meaningful engagement, I also want to recognize that it's my understanding that the police have not been at the last 2 police commission meetings, which really robbed them of the opportunity to ask further questions or have further discussion on these items. And I point that out because, Chief, I want to appreciate what you're saying in terms of your goals, but there seems to be a disconnect. And I think it's really important that our goals be matched by those actions. And I also say that because requiring PD participation in commission meetings is one of many recommendations that have yet to be agendized at our council from the commission from, I believe, 2 years ago, despite repeated requests by some of us for the last year and a half to have those be agendized for action. Further, in addition to the requests about linking general orders and soliciting additional community feedback, I want to remind my colleagues that at Law and Legislation, we actually specifically asked for the police to meet with the sponsors of the bill to address their concerns. That was specific direction from Law and Ledge, and after repeated follow-ups, that was denied by the police. They decided not to meet with the sponsors, and I believe that that type of conversation, again, in the spirit of meaningful community input, could have avoided a lot of the discussion and outstanding issues that are still here today. We were at day 168 of a 180-day process in the law. I wish that this had been brought to us a couple weeks ago when we crossed the 30-day mark on notification, so that we weren't asking for something to change in the future, and we actually had time to refer this back and actually see the changes that we're discussing tonight in print so the public could comment on them. Because again, I want to remind, as many commenters said tonight, that this is a floor, not a ceiling. And I'm going to take the liberty of reading in full the legislative intent language from this bill. It's not too long. The acquisition of military equipment and its deployment in our communities adversely impacts the public safety and welfare, including increased risk of civilian death, a significant risk to civil rights, civil liberties, and physical and psychological well-being, and incurment of significant financial costs. Military equipment is more frequently deployed in low-income Black and brown communities, meaning the risks and impacts of police militarization are experienced most acutely in marginalized communities. The public has a right to know about any funding, acquisition, or use of military equipment by state or local government officials, as well as a right to participate in any government agency's decision to fund, acquire, or use such equipment. Decisions regarding whether and how military equipment is funded, acquired, or used should be given strong consideration to the public's welfare, safety, civil rights, and civil liberties, and should be based on meaningful public input. Legally enforceable safeguards, including transparency, oversight, and accountability measures, must be in place to protect the public's welfare, safety, and civil rights, and civil liberties before military equipment is funded, acquired, or used. And the lack of public forum to discuss the acquisition of military equipment jeopardizes the relationship police have with the community, which can be undermined when law enforcement is seen as an occupying force rather than a public safety service. I say that in full because I do think we're losing a lot of this intent in the minutia of the discussion. But I also want to recognize that when we voted on this policy in December, it was a 7-2 vote. And so I'm not under no delusions about where my colleagues are, although I would love to hear people changing their minds, but I'm not hearing that. I need to say that just because something is in use does not mean it needs to stay in use. And while I know that we can imagine a variety of scenarios where something may or may not be necessary, I have a real question on whether this policy's goal is to protect human life and to be as cost effective as possible. For example, having armor-piercing bullets that we have no memory of using is an issue for me. Having rifles that were obtained from the military that have been converted to AR-15s for our use at $280,000 a piece is another issue for me. But I will not exhaust the list. I will list for the record several specific issues that I've already highlighted for PD so that it is in the public forum. First, the General Order 420.01, use of police vehicles, that is referenced in sections 5 and 6, does not exist. There is no policy listed in the RUC, and that needs to be fixed before final policy is updated, which the police have told me they will address. General Order 580.17 regarding LRAD still includes warning tone use. I appreciate, though, and want to state for the record police's commitment that they've already reprogrammed those devices not to be able to generate warning tones, and we'll change that general order to reflect that change in policy. I will also note that General Order 580.12 regarding less lethal weapons has significant blackout sections. I understand that the law allows for redactions under specific circumstances, but I do not agree from a policy perspective that that is in the best interest of public oversight. So I had this whole example in my brain of all these changes I was going to ask for, and just to make the, I do want to appreciate the reporting clause in here because I want to list a specific one here. Armored vehicles in the annual report, which are the Bearcats currently. This report says that they were used 79 times in 4 months. But all that the report says in terms of what they were used for is support of SWAT and patrol during critical incidents by providing greater safety to community members and officers beyond the protection of a shield or personal body armor. That is woefully insufficient. 79 times. I know you have the data, you just gave the stories, and I disagree with the assertion that you need additional budget to give us the information that you already have. I think this is really a matter of better communication and using some of the $47 million we've given you in the last 2 budget years, but definitely some of the other resources to ensure that the Excel spreadsheet that I understand you currently use to collect this data is available to the staff who write the annual report so that we can actually understand what 79 instances mean in the field. But in the end, I was going to propose a lot of reductions and changes to this ordinance, but I'm here worried that my tears will betray me because tears are seen as a sign of weakness. But right now, this is an expression of my incredible frustration because I think once again, we have missed an incredible opportunity to have a discussion about what this means for the community, to hear this pain, to make real changes, to be open to potentially not using things like tear gas in our communities. This is something that I don't think we should be shying away from, this conversation. And every step of this process, again and again and again, repeated offers were made, repeated requests were made, and they were not heeded. And so I'm just feeling at the point that I don't know how this is fixed right now. I hope that the language, Mayor, that you added helps. I really do. But I'm a no vote on this. I'm not going to second your motion, Councilmember Vang, and it's not because I don't appreciate your effort. I don't know how we ever get past the point that we're at as a community if we can't have these conversations, if we can't be open to this. And I'd really like to ask, as an additional follow-up here, OPSA, we gave her about $500,000 for a truth and reconciliation process a year and a half ago. I don't know where that is, but if anything, tonight has illustrated to me just how critically important that work is. We've got to be able to talk about this in a real way, and I'm so frustrated by my experience really trying to engage in this process for the last several months that I'm just a no vote. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I do want to agendize a report from OPSA on the truth and reconciliation process. I think that's important that we have a public discussion about what the status of that project is. All right, we've got a motion on the floor as amended by resolution, as described in detail by Councilmember Harris, second by Councilmember Chenier. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Ashby?
Yes.
Councilmember Laloy?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
No.
Councilmember Chenier?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra?
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Councilmember Vang?
No.
And Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. All right. Thank you. That concludes, thank you to the members of the public and to the police chief and the department. Appreciate it. Okay.
You're all a bunch of gaslighting pieces of shit. You're perpetuating harm on the constituents.
All right.
Eat shit.
Okay. Nice to see you again.
Fuck you, Daryl.
All right. Is there public testimony on items not on the agenda?
Yes, I have 4 speakers in chambers, and then I do have a few in Zoom. I do have board and commission appointment to read into the record to the Sacramento Youth Commission, Stormy Knight Bergen. Our first speaker is Aaron Haddis, then Robert Copeland, then Alexander Pratt. Is Aaron here? Thank you. Following Aaron is Robert Copeland.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Been a long day. Good evening, Mayor Steinberg and members of the City Council. My name is Aaron Hadzis. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak to you tonight. I'm a construction worker, and I'd like to tell you tonight about the importance of labor standards language and how it directly benefits our local community. As a community benefit, labor standards language provides for and protects people who reside here. Protection can be stated with 3 ideas: affordable health care, apprentice career training, and the hiring of local residents are considered community benefits for these reasons. We need to raise the standards in the construction industry. When we promote policies that require contractors to provide their employees and their families with health care, it creates a level playing field. Apprenticeship programs create a long-term pool of skilled labor that is ready and able to boost our local economy as the projects here come online. Further, local hire policies stop mega commutes and bring stability to families and the community, ensuring that those who live here can spend time with their families and participate in civic and community life, such as the new amazing facilities that were demonstrated earlier today. In summary, affordable health care, apprenticeship career training, and hiring of local residents should be considered as a community benefit when included in our local city ordinance. And to quote the mayor, so as to chart a positive course forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. We're having a little trouble with displaying the clock up here, so our clerk is gonna step away for just a moment and ask them so that you know how much time you have, but I can see it up here, so I'll do my best to let you know, okay? Go ahead, Mr. Copeland.
I wish Mayor Steinberg was in the chambers right now, because I got a thing from National Coalition for the Homeless, dirty dozen list. I'll rank the top 12 cities Los Angeles, California was number 1. San Diego, California was number 2. Miami, Florida was number 3. Austin, Texas was 4. Sacramento was 5. Atlanta was 6. Phoenix, Arizona was 7. DC was 8. San Francisco was 9. New York City was 10. Seattle was 11. 12 was Oakland. Why are we number 5 on this list of worst cities, how they treat the homeless? This is despicable from the city council. And you call yourself a compassion city? I don't think so. And as far as Jeff Harris, I would have asked one question if I was sitting in the dais. About rubber bullets. Why did you ask what they were using?
Robert, you don't get to call out a single council member here.
Copland, make your
That's
comments
our
directly to the
policy.
full council,
You can
please.
address the whole council. Thank you.
Just talk to us all. You can talk to
City
me.
council is a joke. Do better. I mean, number 5 on the homeless list, city council not asking the question that should have been asked. Nobody asked how many injuries were from the protest with Stephon Clark or George Floyd or the public. I don't understand the city council. I'm not voting for any one of you except Katie Valenzuela. I mean, maybe my thing, but the rest of you, no way in heck would I ever vote for any of you. So I'm voting for Dave Jones for Senate District 8. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Mr. Copeland. Next speaker is Alexander Pratt, then Mac Worthy, then Keon Bliss. Mr. Pratt, welcome.
Thank you very much. I feel very conventional in the midst of all this. My name is Alex Pratt. I'm the Vice President of Development for AmCal Multi-Housing. We have been in business for 45 years. We were one of the top 10 affordable housing developers in the nation. We do market rate, we do affordable, and we do student housing. We currently have a project we're working on at 7595 Wayne Scott Way. And it's come before the council, I think, last month. And I just want to encourage you, we've been working with Danielle Foster and with the sheriff's, with the treasurer's office and with council member Vang's office. And I want you to just encourage you to work very diligently to move through this process. In affordable housing, time is money. We've actually invested over $1 million in this site. It's 11.5 acres. It can provide 360 units of workforce housing, but there's a time limit on it. The seller is getting ready to raise the price to us, $650,000 in December. So we're in a difficult position. We are very accustomed to doing difficult projects. We have a 394 unit project of housing in Antioch, just north of here. I have a 360 unit farm worker project in Ventura County. So we know what we're doing. We bring our projects in on time and on budget. So I would like the council to take this opportunity to investigate this thoroughly and quickly. It's a new financial solution to how to do affordable housing. It's going to come at no actual cost to the city's housing department budget. And I encourage you to move quickly to approve it and please to consider it in your next meeting coming up in October. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you for your comments, sir.
Madam Vice Mayor, if I could, just ask our Assistant City Manager if he could relay the message to Director Dozier, the council at our, might have been the last meeting, the meetings are blurring, expressed the concern about the timing and how many of our projects are falling through because of timing. If we could reiterate that, I would be greatly appreciative.
All right, we'll get that message to Ms. Dozier. Thank you, Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Guerra. All right, Mr. Worthy, go ahead.
People, we heard a lot of noise tonight, but we didn't hear how we got to these crimes. We didn't hear nothing about that, did we? Okay, some of you have seen this before. Bring that up on the screen.
Yep, go ahead. Just keep talking. Takes a second.
See, these are the things that, reason you have to have a police department. Now, you won't see nobody else across the board, different nationality, but me, brought this to the community. But yet still, you got a commission. You never say, what was the number of people that attended your meeting? A commission oversight of the police department don't mean nothing with state law. Where you appointed those folks out there, they're gonna come back and bullshit the people. What do they know about crime? Some of these people is relating to laws to make peace in here. American law is still in philosophy. So we want to know your people that's on Zoom, why they can't show their face. Those are your critical things here in this city. If you can't show your face, stay the hell out of the city. That's the bottom line. Freedom of speech. I'm here at all time on freedom of speech. We heard something here about the mega. People, I still support Donald Trump. Ain't gonna continue. We going to drain the swamp. And this is the type of thing, when you appoint these people as commission, they don't know the rectum from a hole in the ground. So you got to get some people on there and say, how many people in that community that came to your meeting? Nothing, but yet still they're gonna make a report when they talk to an attorney. Wake up, Sacramento. Crime going to eat you raggedy. You just wait till July. Crime gonna eat you raggedy right here.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Worthy.
Next speaker is Keon Bliss, and then Melissa Harris.
Welcome back, Mr. Bliss.
I really don't feel welcomed at this council. In fact, I know for at least a fact that 4 of you didn't even bother to respond to the Chair Graciela Castillo-Crings and my emails to meet with you. Only a few of you actually met with us, and that's been a routine basis, even despite her honest best efforts to actually reach out to you and develop a meaningful dialogue. You did in the beginning, but then you became, you fell under 4 investigations. I'll talk to all of you how I want because it's my right and it's my time. Frankly, I'm here after 1.5 years on this commission as a volunteer for this city, frustrated because I don't believe a majority of you actually care about police accountability, much less the well-being and rights of your residents. That's why you just ignored the fact that overwhelming people who called in for public comment asked you to make changes that we reasonably put together, that we put the work in, and you haven't done that. And frankly, you haven't done it in over 5 years. You've passed one recommendation since our creation of our commission, and you have ignored everything else. The mayor himself literally named that the city council does the wrong by the commission, and yet here we are a year later after our first recommendation is passed, and we still haven't even had a vote on the other 2020 recommendations, which are just the highest priority of all the previous years before. So rather than pretend like a majority of you care, I'm just going to name for a fact that at least 4 of you are on the take from law enforcement. The mayor himself has received no less than $70,000 between 2016 and 2020 from the Sacramento Peace Officers Association.
Mr. Bliss, you need to keep your comments.
You, Angelique, have taken over $27,000. Jeff Harris, you're as racist as Jim Crow, frankly.
Your time is expired,
I'm done
Mr.
with
Bliss.
that.
Thank you for your comments.
So,
next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Melissa Harris.
Mr.
Yes, can you
Bliss,
hear me?
your time is expired. We have another speaker. I'm sorry, Ms. Harris. Just a moment. Thank you, Mr. Bliss. Go ahead, Ms. Harris. Go ahead with your comments.
Confirming that you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go right ahead.
Okay. My name is Melissa Harris, and I am the District 2 Active Transportation Commissioner, a member of the Hagenwood Community Association, and a member of the District 2 Coalition of Neighborhood Leaders. The coalition is a group of people who are committed to advocating for investment in our community as a promising place to do business and a good place to call home. This coalition has supported the investigation into Councilman Lowy's residency to either clear the councilman of these allegations or, if the allegations are found to be true, to take expeditious action. Representative government is critical to our democracy, and the elected city council represent the people they serve. Yesterday, the coalition sent another request to the city council asking for an update on the investigation into Lowy's residency, and Lowy responded with the following email. I would love to respond to this excuse me, I struggle here. I would love to respond to this bullshit email. What a fucking coalition. end quote. Lowy later sent an apology email. As a constituent of District 2 and as a member of Lowy's neighborhood of Hagenwood, I firstly want to just apologize for repeating this coarse language. This behavior does not represent the people who live in Hagenwood and District 2. Second, I request an update on the residency investigation immediately and an additional investigation of ethics violations of the councilman as warranted. And third, if Councilman Lowy is this angry that his constituents are asking for the truth, we should all wonder why. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Harris. I'm going to remind the speakers, we have, I think, about 5 left. They're all virtual, that this part of the council meeting is intended for comments to the council as a full body. So you can't single anybody out. Can't single out any of the council members. You got to make your comments to all of us. All right? Thank you.
Next speaker is Lambert Davis, then Flo Kofer.
Welcome, Mr. Davis.
Yes, I'm calling in, and I can address the dais. The mayor and the city council, recently I received an email from the director of the Grant Drumline thanking me for my efforts because I am a true pacer through and through. I'm an alumni, actually born and raised in Del Paso Heights. So there's no transplant in me. And what I was so happy to see was that he sent me, because I'm a baby boomer, I'm learning on the fly. I have a tremendous millennial following. And whatever I don't know technically, they make sure I do know. And so the director sent me a link to what happened in Washington, D.C. and New York. And I was really surprised. They were in also South Africa a couple years ago. So I sent that to the mayor and all of the city council, so you can't say you didn't get it. And it's time now to recognize these teenagers and their parents in your chambers, as well as the 2022 city championship basketball team. I'm seeing a lot of people getting honored in the chamber, and great for them. But most of them are adults. That's great. But let's recognize these seniors out of Del Paso Heights because, you know, how many of you have won championships or been part of championships? Okay? It's difficult to win a championship. Ask the Warriors. They just won it. So I think you should do that. It's Grant High School's 90th birthday. What better way to celebrate it than to bring in some teenagers from Grant High School? And by the way, during Labor Day, our cheesecakes went
Thank you for
viral
your comments.
again.
Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
Yeah, give Minty a raise in a 2-year hiatus.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Next speaker is Flo Kofer, then Michael Snell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On August 30th, you passed an ordinance that changed the way boards and commissions are governed. And during that time, Councilmember Valenzuela made an amendment that was ultimately voted down because it was focusing, I think because we were so focused on the conversation around ad hocs. But I wanted to lift up, because I think it merits future consideration, that one of the changes that she included in that amendment was that when boards, commissions, and committees submit policy recommendations to the council, that these recommendations should be agendized for first consideration by either a budget committee or law and legislation within 90 days of submission. And so given the conversation we've had tonight, I want to lift that up, and I'd like a commitment from the council to bring that particular recommendation, which was also echoed by the League of Women Voters, back to the council for approval, because I think that was separate from the conversation about ad hocs, and it's something that this council should be able to commit itself to. Secondly, I would like to just lift up the comments made by a previous commenter about the council member from District 2's language when engaging with constituents. I certainly have attended plenty of city council meetings, including tonight, where decorum has been lifted up. against the public and vehemently defended from the public. And I think that we should expect no less, and in fact, quite much more from our elected officials. And so I do believe that this body should publicly, chastise him for that language, state that it is unacceptable and will not be tolerated, and require more. Because if we ask that again from unpaid members of the community who are living here and are experiencing, really difficult things to process, we certainly should expect it from the person who purports to represent District 2. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Kofer.
Next speaker is Michael Snell, then Richard Wake.
Hi, just wanted to give follow-up comments to council. I appreciate Vice Mayor's response to the policy and his input. And I share the frustrations with District 4 council member as well. Just know you're not alone. And I'll see from all the calls in, you can see that there's a huge body of support. To speak up to a previous speaker, Mr. Keon, continue the rally. Obviously, there's an army that needs to be in support around you as well. We just need to come together, organize, and compete against this clear agenda by a really radical conservative body. And it's frustrating. And the harder it is to come to terms or even some sort of mutual grounds with people of that mindset, it just makes me want to move further away from California. And so I'm giving the business that I'm opening and everything, making history in my city that I'm from, one last shot before I pack up and move. And I can't wait to see some new blood come into City Hall, so we have different, better perspectives aside from, I apologize, but aside from boomers, because you grew up, your only source of information was the newspaper and the paid media. So now we need some new blood with a better perspective on how things are operating in our communities. Enforcement, safety, solutions. Obviously, enforcement has been the law and order, that whole agenda. We've exercised that. We've seen what comes from that. We need to find better solutions. And clearly, crime, the answer isn't enforcement. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comments, though, Mr. Snell. Thanks for calling in.
Next speaker is Richard Wake, and then Dave Kempa will be our final speaker.
Richard Wake, City Council, District 7. Last week when I called in, I had the unfortunate time, or whatever you want to call it, of letting you know that there was some vandalism at the Southfield Shopping Center. That happened again this past weekend. Another trash receptacle was smashed. Another crazy person came up to the insurance company office next door to Flores restaurant, started banging on the windows. That appeared that the windows might break. Rosa Flores' son called SAC PD and there was no response. I watched what happened with the protest over at 16th and Broadway. I kind of side with the Sacramento Homeless Union side, obviously, that we need thoughtful, reasonable, sane results to get people sheltered and get them the services they need. Things cannot continue the way they are, though. They can't. How much longer are we going to tolerate vandalism in our neighborhoods? How much longer are the businesses in Southland Park and in other areas of the city going to have to put up with feces in front of their doors, crazy people banging on windows, nearly breaking windows, elderly people even afraid to go in their backyard because the people from the encampment up on the levee physically threaten her, senior citizens afraid to take out their trash. Like I said, we all want thoughtful, compassionate, decent results. You guys have kicked this can down the road for 6 years. A lot of us are tired of the dog and pony show with the county and the city saying the county needs to do more. There's never going to be an agreement. You guys had to know about this. People as well connected as you know what's going on in the county. I mean, really, come on. Mayor Steinberg's former chief of staff, when he was in the Senate, was Patrick Kennedy's chief of staff. I'm not buying that. You guys need to get the job done.
Thank you for your comments. And our final speaker is Dave Kempa. Dave Kempa, if you'll unmute.
Let's give him one more.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. We
Can you hear
you.
me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hi, y'all. I'm going to do my best to adhere to the dated rules for items not on the agenda. So let's just talk about a hypothetical city council member from Twistrict Do, we'll say, right? And we'll say that their name might be Lon Shaloy, okay? And that perhaps they have done, or at least in the media, have been proclaimed to say some very illegal things, right? Let's also say that they've used some bad language. And I know you have asked that we don't use bad language. So why don't I just say they said shucking bullfit in an email to a constituent of theirs, right? None of this is okay. All of these things should be things that we should be able to discuss on items not on the agenda that the city council, your body, refuses to put on the agenda. That is a problem. That is something you need to address. And you should allow your constituency to talk about this. We know who I'm talking about. We know what they've done. We know the federal investigation, the local investigation, the other statewide investigation that is happening against this person, and you need to do better to address your constituency on this issue. Hi, Sean, baby.
Okay. All right, we're done with those public comments. Sure. That was Mr. Kempa. All right. Mr. Lilly, turn off your mic. Council Member Harris, if you have a comment, go right ahead, please.
Yeah, I've got a couple of announcements.
For it.
This will be a little more benign, just so you know.
Okay. Try to keep your comments directed to all of us, if you could.
Yeah, I'm addressing the entire dais here.
Thank you.
So the Northgate signalization project is underway after 2.5 years of effort. Construction began last week, and the signals should be fully operational later this year. Very happy about that. Next Saturday is Pops in the Park. The concert begins at 6 p.m. at South Natomas Community Park. The band is Hip Service, and it's going to be a great show. I hope you all can make it. On September 21st, I'm hosting a community meeting to discuss the design of a new Northgate wall in lieu of the tumble-down fences that line Northgate for a couple of miles. Very excited about this. We've got some great designs for the community to look at and approve. And I'm really happy that project's moving forward. And on the 24th of September, the SMUD Ride and Drive event will be held at Smythe Elementary School at 2781 Northgate Boulevard. And this will be an opportunity for community members to test drive electric vehicles. I'll be there, and I'll be trying to convince everybody to buy one.
Northgate projects are really exciting, Councilmember Harris. Congratulations to you on that. I know the community's been waiting for that for a long time. Good for you. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Just 3 quick announcements. Number 1, our office hours are this Friday. Our team will be doing meeting requests, same thing, responding to constituent questions and issues, and then dealing and connecting people with appropriate departments at Oakey Park from 5:30 to 7:30 for our community Oakey Park food truck event. But it's also our movie night, so we're encouraging families to come out, bring your lawn chairs out. We're going to be showing Luca at sundown, so get your city questions resolved early, and then we'll have popcorn afterwards for the movie. Then on Saturday night, the next day, again, we talked about it earlier today. Thanks again to all our Parks Commissioners, Councilmember Jennings, and the Mayor for this. 916 Day, our District 6 916 Day is going to start at 9 a.m. We're going to be tree planting, mulching, and painting of the bleachers over at the baseball field at George Sim Community Center. So come on out and help give a little shine to the George Sim Community Center and improve our baseball fields there. Later on, right after that, at Elder Creek Elementary, we have Sat Goes Back Community Fair, and we're going to be giving out, we're going to be activating that school. We're going to be doing some painting and live mural. We're doing murals on the school, free school supplies, COVID vaccinations, haircuts, bike repairs, and food. and helping out all of our kids and needing families in the South area. So come on out there, and again, I wanted to wish everyone in this upcoming days for Latino Heritage Month, for all of those from also Ecuador and also from Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Viva las Americas, and also wanted to wish everyone here, for those from Mexico, also Viva Mexico, the great celebration that we've had here in Sacramento. And people forget that there was 43 years of the Californios who were part of that. So with that, come out and enjoy the celebrations.
All right, and you're showing Luca, you said, right?
We're showing Luca over at Oakey Park, yeah, which is a great movie.
That is a really good
It
one.
is a really good
People
movie.
haven't seen that one, it's really fun. Okay, anything else from my colleagues? Everybody good? That being said, we are done. Thank you.